But for now, we are going to run off to the big desk. We will see you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel. Brendan's at the big desk.
I love this.
In time, but here we go. Yeah, 2 hours to go on a pretty busy afternoon. Good look there. As far as QuantumScape is concerned, a good look for electric vehicles, maybe. Yep. 500,000 without any degradation. Seems like a pretty good number. Toyota was doing a lot of work going into the end of last year on solid-state batteries as well. Nothing so far has come from that, but good look again. If you missed it, QS teaming up with Volkswagen doing some testing on their solid-state batteries, and looks like they're doing better than expected. Tesla, meanwhile, speaking of batteries, 1% to the upside today. A pretty good day so far. 240 acting as support. That was about the middle yesterday. So back upside after a bit of a dip, to say the least, yesterday. NVO up on a announcement this morning. They're teaming up with, I forget the other company, but another company on a research deal. So NVO 4.3%, all the way back to 108, 109 area for Novo Nordisk. A nice look for most in the healthcare group. Most. Eli Lilly, J&J still positive on the day. J&J basically flat or back to flat. Everything else positive except for Pfizer. Standing out to the downside so far today. Amazon standing out to the downside today. 1.8% under pressure once again. Visa, MasterCard, both back to positive territory. These names specifically have been pretty quiet so far this year. Yeah, I saw Starbucks there popped up early on this morning. Hasn't really done much since, but 0.7 still holding on to a positive day. Tesla positive on the day as well. We'll talk about that coming up. Costco, Home Depot, Procter & Gamble standing out that side of the board. There's NVIDIA as well. A little bit stronger than the rest, to say the least. AMD, Intel. Intel actually negative now. It was holding on to positive territory. A little bit earlier on, Netflix, IBM, Meta. You get to the upside. Pretty much everything else in this group meaningful anyways, as far as the overall market is concerned, either dead flat like Microsoft or a little bit red as far as Google and Apple are concerned at this point. If you're with us early on this morning, join us every day. In the first hour of the show, 8:30 to 9:30, we get you set for what is moving in the pre-market and then for the open as well. Mobileye was top of the list this morning. They came out and talked a little bit about their forecast going forward, and it was not good. Right across the board, they cut not only final 23 look into 24, but full year forecast for Mobileye 2024 downside. That's on top of 1, 2, 3, 4 straight red days in a row here. It was never good, and it never ended up being good, guys, for MBLY.
Just got one. Thanks, Randy. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Oh, I got this in my ear. I think it's Sharif's mic, Adrian. Fabian, Adrian. Okay, welcome back. So look, Mobileye has been a monster, and thank you for joining us one more time here today. We talked about Mobileye in the short percentage, in the short float, about 20%, and that it did have a chance to get back up to the upside. That was at 9 o'clock, and then someone goes, oh, look, you guys talked about it, and then it started to bump up. Well, that's exactly what happened, but look what we did, man. We sat at $31. Found this little level there. And I only start charting at 7 o'clock. I mean, it's not, for me, it's not a big deal to go too much further back than that. But we just waited. We waited. We saw a nice little volume spike there to the upside, right? Gave us that level, then downside. So yeah, we're short Mobileye at $31. We got a little piece out at $29.50 just as we went off air. On VWAP, remember, we were going back and forth debating whether or not we liked that. But right now, this one is almost $2 now in the money as Mobileye just bounced off 29. So, you know, we could have got some out there. I'm still waiting for lower, honestly. Like, I still think we can get a little bit, you know, let's see if it works. We only have about 25% rate now. It's because we got a little bit of a weird fill up there. So we'll wait to see what happens through $29. But Mobileye, yeah, man, bad Q guide, and yeah, I'm not excited to see this one come through. But you said it was what, end of January?
Let me double check that.
Oh, I have it right here. Actually, I still have it up from this morning.
Let me groan about that. 25th.
25th of January pre-market. So. I don't know, man. I don't want. I know you own this one, but I would wait. Obviously, I don't think you're gonna be buying any more. Probably waiting until the end of the month. To
I mean, let's put it this way: if
better to make a move on.
At least you made money short. I'm happy that you made money short.
Yeah.
Like there's like bag holding. I remember when I had like a couple of like just the last 5% of like a few bag holding stocks. You don't care because you made a bunch of money on the way up.
Yeah.
Like I never actually. Oh shoot.
All over our bears.
No, it's. thanks for the tea though. No, it's fine. That's terrible. That's fine. We're live. That basically resembles the guide for mobile.
Yeah, we need more napkins.
No, but it was basically, well, all it was saying is like this isn't, it's not like a bag hold. Like I bought it, I never actually sold anything, just initiated a long-term position because I wanted something else that exposed me to some automated driving. We're good to go.
I think we're
What's
good to go.
crazy is Randy did a fantastic job. Like nothing shows on this desk, obviously, because I spill shit all the time. And you've never actually seen like a stain here, so we're all good. But Mobileye, it's nasty.
Cleaned it up.
I just hope somehow it was a gigantic sandbag, and when they come out with their report, they can surprise. That's about the only reason I think I'd buy this one after this quarter, and I'm certainly after the next quarter. And I consider, whether or not I could just get out. Now, candidly speaking, it's more about where it came from that I'm. Like I had every opportunity to recognize that there was resistance in the 45 zone, and when I was long here the last time it did this, it was bouncing off. I could have been scalping this for like 20% if I thought it was a trade or a swing trade or something, and now I'm just sort of looking at this 25, 30% of the money. Do I even want to hold this in the long term? So that it happens to you. I'm not going to end up bag holding this. If before, I'm going to set myself a price, whether it's the all-time low or like 10% underneath that. Before earnings, I'll just say forget this and make a decision after earnings. But it's nasty to the downside. It's showing you some continuation. There was an SSR bounce because it was over 10% down, but really once that subsided, it's only stair-stepping in. And the other factor, because we glossed over this a little bit, was Intel was down big because of their stake in Mobileye. That at least stabilized very well. Like it came all the way back to yesterday's levels and essentially just sort of brushed it off. Not a great day for Intel, but all things considered, I'd say Intel held up pretty well, given where this was at the open. What was that?
Like the same ones that are in these things. We're just talking about batteries, and this QuantumScape thing is, if it's a thing and they can figure out some of the problems with it, like we were just talking, the argument against solid state batteries that Elon always had was the stability of the actual battery and that they heat up without control essentially and can catch fire. So if they can solve that problem, I mean, that's fantastic.
And remember, this one had a major lawsuit from investors back in 2021,
Right.
2022 for overstating their results. So we'll have to see how they do.
Right, yeah. Let's talk Apple here. It's been a bit of a bounce back. I mean, we're still not back to where we were yesterday, but a bit of a bounce back off those lows this morning. 181.5, I guess, comes into play. Piper Sandler with the downgrade, jumping on the bandwagon this morning, going to neutral, lowering their price target to 205.
Yeah, Piper analyst Harsh Kumar basically predicting a challenging environment for Apple vis-a-vis China, as well as saying that there's going to be currency headwinds in 2024, also emphasizing the elevated impact of interest rates that could have on the demand for their handsets. So we'll have to wait and see how they do, but not a good look this year so far for Apple, Brendo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of where do you buy it instead of how long do you wait, I think, for Apple, guys.
Yeah, I think, and we've sort of talked about this before. Like, yeah, the market's pulling back, and yeah, Apple's been in a bit of a downward trend. But, you look at the daily chart, and one of the things that when I popped into the midday, start out looking at the higher time frame and getting an overall sense of things. So yes, pulling back off 200, pulling back off of a bit of a double top of sorts on the daily through the 50 period. I look at the 200 period moving average. So the last time it was here, Apple spent 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit days underneath. And after the first day closing under the 200 period moving average, it's a simple moving average on the daily. All the other days after that were green. It didn't have a red day for 2 weeks. So I'm looking at that and saying, we get to 180, I'll change my mind and start looking for some dip buys on Apple. But at least for today, it was still, let's go to the 3 minute, it was still a short. And it gave you a couple of opportunities at the open, the best of which was going right into 183, so sort of the pre-market high in there. Got a few wicks in there. I've tried to get rid of them. They won't go. I was in a bit too early And it does skew things when you get in a bit early, because I think a lot of the reason why I wasn't holding that initial move for back into 182 even, and I was covering multiple times at 182 and a half, was because I anchored to an entry that was just above 182 and a half. So it popped in the money and I took a third out. When really the short should have been off 183, where if I'm shorting it off 183 with a tighter stop, when I'm seeing some strength in the tape, I'm going to know that, hey, no, you're holding this more for the 82 move and not worrying about that $0.50. But anchored to an early entry causes you to get away from the plan a little bit sometimes. It's just human nature. For me, it happens. Always want to make sure you trade off of the better price areas and wait for them to get there if it's bullish. Because Apple's been bearish, you don't want to miss the short the pop. I did miss it. It broke by about 9 cents. My stop was at 11. At 183.11, I think it got to 9.5. So I've just missed making top wick like I did in SoFi yesterday on that short. But it worked out, got the bottom off the 182. We didn't quite, I was sort of chatting with Randy and going over some system things on P per 8. So I missed a chance at this reload because I was a bit busy doing a couple of other things at this 183 when it came back in. But clearly, you've got a new price level on Apple, the 183. I don't think I'm a buyer of this or looking for long until either it breaks out a big resistance level and shows strength above, or we see that 180 mark on Apple.
All right, we're just going back and forth here with another big tech name. That's going to be Tesla. We're back and forth. It's just messing around right now. I'm not in love with this. Let's see what happens with Tesla. We had the long. We got stopped at once. It went all the way up. We made like $1.50 there, and then right now we just dancing with it around this 240 area. So we've got shares. We're long at 239.71. I like it, but let's just see where we go on this name from here. That of course is going to be Tesla, that we watch out for this right now, and just see where we go. So that's going to be Tesla. Apple, I had it early, and we were short, and then we let it go at the top. It's going to be my worst stock today. And then we went long and lost. So we made a little bit of money back, thank God. And we'll talk about Micron when we get there as well on that trade. But yeah, for me today, Apple should probably just be a short again here at 183, man. We didn't have it on our sticky note. That's a mistake. We should have stuck with what we know, and that was Apple, and we should have stuck with the short. So, all right, it looks like we had a little bit of a move back up there, 20 cents in the money for Tesla. Let's take a piece out at 90 there, and then we'll wait another piece if we can at around 98. And we don't have too many orders because we want to make sure that we have something if and when it goes back up. So here we go. We just talked about Tesla going long. We're long now at 71. It's back 30 cents in the money. Let's see if it will continue to work to the long side. That is Tesla. We also have a big SoFi position, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Micron up next.
Yeah, interesting. There was a downtick there on QuantumScape as well, almost at the same time as Tesla. Yeah, let's talk about some of these chips. Micron with the note this morning from Piper Sandler as well. So they didn't like Apple, but they did like Micron, going to overweight with MU with a $95 price target. Got to go up about $10, $12 for that.
And it was the same analyst too, Brendo. Yeah. Harsh Kumar, that downgraded Apple. Yeah, he's being a harsh dude. No, in all seriousness, upgrading it from neutral to overweight with a price target of 95 from 70. There's a lot of good tailwinds for the random access memory maker because there's going to be a lot of need for this in the AI infrastructure that's currently being built out. So a lot of analysts positive on this one, Brendo. A
few people mentioning this GCT as well. I haven't seen anything on this today. There's about a 15 million float on that, but GigaCloud as well going, guys.
GigaCloud, okay. We had, yeah, it sounds very legit. All right, so we're lucky enough to make back some money here on Micron. We did the same thing. It's the same thing as Apple. We punched that long through 84. I really liked the 84. I thought there could have been something there. We obviously had some good news today with Piper Sandler with the upgrade, so that was really nice for Micron. And it's really just been doing nothing, man. We had some big moves early, and since then, nothing. We're still in a very, very small piece. It's like I'm in under 5% of the trade still on Micron. And I was debating getting longer right now. I mean, this is one of the trades I was just sort of waiting for. We're at a decent level right now. The problem is I'm already long Tesla, I'm long SoFi, I'm long everything. So I don't know if that's going to be the right thing to do here with Micron. But I like the stock. It's bouncing off this $80 level plus some upgrades. So I think you you know, if you're in this in your long-term account or even a swing trade, I think you could be in it until it breaks 80. And if the market does turn itself around, I mean, you're going to have a decent 2-to-1 winner or something on a swing trade if you take this from here. So, yeah. Micron, good on ya. I definitely like that trade. Let's go a little bit here on Tesla. Again, we do have a little bit of an upsized position, so you know, if we're able to scalp some of this out, especially with the long here in Tesla, we're going to do exactly that. Let me take another piece right here at 05. Maybe it can go up to the upside. Actually, 03. So we'll take that piece out and then wait for something a little higher. But yeah, Micron, good name, and unfortunately, the only chip name that I traded today.
Yeah, you know, me too.
Like we're normally on more.
You know what? We said this. I said this in the morning. We were sort of talking about Intel and the relationship with Mobileye, so I wanted to sit that one out at the open because I didn't remember, as I don't think I had ever traded Intel when Mobileye had a move like this, and knowing that they owned a stake, wasn't sure what the price action would be, so just stayed away from it. I traded Micron as well, but it was off the 83 level, so the actual trade. Okay, that's interesting. Is this chart? There we go. The 3-minute is also missing a bit of data. Anyways, long off of 83, scalped some out. This was around where VWAP was in the morning, and then got some out in front of 84. So scalp to VWAP, hold to the high at 84. But the more important thing, which I wanted to get at, just to add, on the daily chart, I've got this marked off on Micron, the channel that it was in for 2022. So I simply look to the point where, like this move here, like, okay, you made a double bottom. Okay, let's trace back to that support level at 48. And then where's that top? So once it shows me that double bottom, there's your top of the channel. We get another low that holds, you clearly here hold the bottom of the channel, which then ends up corresponding with the 200 period moving average on the daily. So that's all great. And then this top has been respected. So Micron, it's a great looking trend. And we saw what happened with Intel when it had a similar trend breakout. Like Intel was in a very similar trend. It broke that bad boy out, retested the top, and then shot within a few weeks. It was a 20% move, which is pretty good for Intel when it spent like a year going in a 20% up and down channel. It then broke it out in a matter of days. So Micron, it's set up the same way on the chart. So I think it's worth looking at on the higher time frame, and just, I'm not going long Micron every single day, but I'm looking for longs based on that trend that's set up, especially when it makes that breakout through the top end of the channel. So I like trend lines. I've used them for a long time, although when I started out trading, I had way too many of them. I try to just keep it at like one channel or like one support level, one resistance level, and leave it on there while it's relevant.
A ton of volume behind Walgreens today, trying to get back to the upside a little bit. 24, a bit of a level right now, but relative volume just off the chart right now. You can see at the bottom there. On WBA, they reported pre-market this morning. Initial move was faded. The call was 8:30. If you missed it, there were some not so positive things said on said call, pointing towards they're expecting, anyways, more consumer weakness going into the new year.
Look, Breno, they beat on the top line and the bottom line. The top line was actually an increase of 10% year over year on revenue. With respect to profits, they turned about a $67 million loss, but compare that to last year on the quarter when they paid $3.7 billion out to settle a multi-billion dollar opioid lawsuit there. The issue here is the dividend cut. They've cut the dividend from 48 pennies to 25 pennies. That's a reduction of 7% dividend to 3.9% dividend. A lot of people are in this for the coupon, and so if they're not going to pay it, they're out.
Yeah, most of this move coming in the pre-market. Once the market did get open, it was kind of a bounce play, essentially. There was a little bit more of a sell-off, but it's been upside ever since.
It was a good morning with the exception of Amazon for me, with the irony, of course, that Amazon ended up being good. I guess we'll get to we don't really have big cap tech. Well, we'll probably get to that at some point, talking some of the big cap tech names in Amazon, and it wasn't the best. But when you pick one stock over the other, or you prioritize your list of names in whatever order you might do so, what'll end up happening is you can miss out on a good trade. And in Walgreens, that was simply the case today. So while if you were watching the morning show, you would have heard me say, hey, it's down over 10%, just from an SSR bounce standpoint. The 50 period sits at 22.5, and you've got a support level. I can zoom in better than that. And you've got a support level down here at $22.5. look for like a relief rally because it's short sell restricted off of that price. There's it bouncing and consolidating off 22.5. It eventually breaks, gets to VWAP. That's where I'd be out on a VWAP retracement on an SSR name. And it actually continues to 24. So that's the idea. Like if you're catching a falling knife, at least have a plan. Like that gave you a key level on Walgreens. It gave you the fact it was 10% down. They may have cut the dividend, but there's still at least some people that probably look for it as a value. So there's reasons why it gets a bit of a bounce there, but a bit of a missed opportunity. You can't catch them all, but you can have a plan of what it is you're looking for and why, which at least that was there for Walgreens. SoFi's not on there, but SoFi just pulled back to.
Yeah, it's trying to break. We're trying to get out of that right now.
Yeah, SoFi. I actually have my stop. Oh my goodness, just under the 46 level. This chart's a little bit better. Yeah, just under this level right here. It's here. It's 45. So my stop is at 45, and this was kind of cruising to the highs, and it just pulled right back in. So I'm out underneath the 45 level. 15-minute chart usually serves me better in the afternoon.
Yeah, we kind of sensed that there was going to be a problem there with SoFi because it just, the market was kind of going there right here, and it didn't. It just kept on going down. So I actually had offers like up at 52 and 53. It kept on going. It ran right into some size at 50 and took it out. So we'll wait. I mean, obviously we all have the same out. So we can wait on SoFi, and then we'll slap a fail right now on Tesla because it just broke down through 50. But now I'm going to go short. I mean, I just witnessed basically a bunch of trouble up here. It had a big time problem. Bless you. I had a big time problem getting through 240.20 here. And I don't know, man, we're underneath. Maybe this market does want to collapse into the end of the day like we've been doing the last couple of days. So we'll sit here and see if that wants to happen or not. But right now we are going to, try to anyways, sort of caress this Tesla short and see if we can't get a little bit more up near 240. But for now, we'll hold the short. We're short at 44. It's flat. Let's see where it goes from here. And then just on Walgreens Boots Alliance, you guys know that I passed on this earlier today, and now you're going to know why, because we came in today and it was up. The watch list is great for it, and there's good notes about it, and it's fine. Obviously, we talked about the dividend problem, but nice move to the downside there. Very, very hard. I'm still going to, keep in the pocket here and in mind that potentially breaking pre-market and yesterday's closing levels, once the market breaks down the way it does, watch out for pre-market bottoms and or tops breaking on earning plays. So that's something there for Walgreens Boots Alliance.
It's all good.
It's Randy.
I just noticed that it's Randy there. We're not going to say. Look, Randy obviously doing a great job filling in for Fabian. Before we.
Hi. It's Randy. It's fine.
It's Randy, yeah.
Let's go on to Peloton. What a day it's been. A bit of a downtick right now, but back above 620. We're right back to the top end of the range here. For Peloton coming off this agreement this morning. CNBC, the first to report, Peloton teaming up with TikTok. I mean, there's not a lot of detail in this as far as what this is going to include, but fitness videos, live classes, Peloton instructor content, and quote unquote collaborations with TikTok creators. So, I mean, clearly they like it.
Yeah, well, we were speculating on the midday show how this was going to work, Brendo, whether I was going to be able to use it on the big TV that comes with the Peloton bike, or I'm going to have to use it on my phone, which is where I digest TikTok videos. Like Brendo said, short on details. Let's see how this works. But clearly Peloton thinking outside the box here with a partnership with Lululemon. Now with TikTok, they're really trying to remake themselves, Brendo.
Yeah, and in need of a bump as well. We get right back to the top end of the range here for Peloton today.
This is the one time. Okay, it's not the one time. I can tell you, Peloton was great, and it was great as a long, because I don't think that's been the case for. Let me zoom out here. There you go, because it actually looked pretty bullish when I was zoomed in and only looked at the last couple of days. But it hasn't really been a very good-looking stock. Kudos to it for making this triple bottom that we didn't notice at I didn't notice at 420. $4.20, triple bottom, broke the 50 period. That's actually kind of bullish off this $5 level. So, maybe you should have been paying a little bit more attention to the $5 level. which I think got mentioned on, it was a couple of years ago. When it was at 10, I remember you saying 5 for, but anyways.
Peloton, yeah, I don't know.
When I was on, and we're actually going to do something a little bit more regularly. If you're watching the midday, learn to trade with Sharif and Adara, I popped in there just to give my thoughts on like what's my preparation, what's my routine, and regardless of what the topic is every single day, I feel like there's something that can get contributed. So until lunch money comes back, I'm just going to pop on at noon or around that time every single day and just give my 2 cents on something. We'll play it by ear as to what it's going to be, but I'll be there every single day. Today, one of the examples I used for like how you look for levels was actually Peloton because it gave a setup. So when you look at the higher time frame, I just showed you the daily. I won't get into that again. You're bullish on it because of the news. That's great. It spikes in the pre-market. This is at 8 o'clock. So unless you're already in the long off the bottom, you're looking for an entry price. And you had this double bottom here at 580. You had pre-market resistance that it fell from the day before. So the first thing you do is I sit down and I know what's in play. I mark off 580. Well, what am I going to do with that at the open when it breaks out early pre-market? At the open, it fails that level. So, okay, well, I'm looking long, not short, so I want it to be above 580 to give me an entry. So there's all this mess in the pre-market and at the open off the level, but what it does do is after breaking the level, turning around at $6, it then makes this higher low at about 575. The second it does that, I'm like, okay, give me buyers above 580, go long. So long 581 scalp trade, long 580. This time it actually tested 75. Should have probably re-entered there a third time, and that should have been a fourth. Scalped it out again, got in a third time, allowed it to get to the high of the day, started breaking out on volume, so no need to have orders. Like the volume just starts to pick up, you're like, let it go. So let it get into 6, take a couple outs, have one at the actual pre-market kind of top there at 605. And then from there, let it trail. But it all started with that 580 level and knowing that's where I wanted to trade around. So when you hear, and when you're looking at the sticky note or the morning note, or you hear us say levels, this is sort of the reason why. It's not that your plan is automatically to punch long at that price. It can be. It could also just be, I want to see this happen. I want to see buyers at this price, and then I'm looking for long. If it can't get above this price, I'm not interested in the long. If it can't get above this price, I'm looking short. Like those are the types of things that is when you're making your plan for the day, that's what you'll do. I'm now out of it because I got trailed out, and it still looks pretty strong, up 15%. Like this is a stock that probably has another 30, 40 cents until it gets to resistance at 670, 50 cents actually to 670 on the daily, where from there it could still break out. Good short float, decent catalyst. I don't have one, don't use it, but a lot of people swear by it. So I think this is the kind of partnership that can get some legs for it, especially the timing is pretty good at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, it'll be good. TikTok, whatever, it's just going to benefit Peloton, right? The more people that are on TikTok, some good relationships there. All right, we average into SoFi. We have, we have a decent amount of shares here for, I'm just going to get some more out here on Tesla, by the way. Tesla, we got a 16 fill. I'm just going to put another 16 fill right here as well. See if we can get that. Obviously, they've layered in front of me now, but hopefully it'll fling back in. You see all these 1, 1, 1, 1, 1? Like these are just program trading, man. Like they're just putting it like basically probably sub 100 lots there and just trying to create something. So we'll see. But Tesla, yeah, the short actually paid. So we finally went short, went long a little bit until it broke. There's a break there down. That's where we got out, and then it just bounced off 239 flat. So we're going to need to do some work there with Tesla, hopefully back in. But the reason why I went to SoFi here is that we talked about that VWAP trade. Now let's go. Like we're long, we averaged in, we're long at 49, so one more penny up and it's all good. Then we'll be back into the flat area for this trade. I don't know. I just want to tell everyone that I did average into it down there, and we've done well on SoFi. Like we're doing well on it. In and in, outs. Oh, you can't see that there. Outs up here, 57s, 58s, so on and so forth, was all good until it really wasn't. And then it broke. We talked about some of these markets trying to break back down through VWAP, so no surprise there on SoFi. Thinking that I'm going to get this Tesla fill hopefully at 16, especially if this market comes down. We should be able to get that, so that'll be something else. All right, that's it, man. I don't have anything about TikTok or Peloton, but those levels are pretty key, and I just think that if we're going to trade short float names, we got Mobileye, we've got Affirm, we've got Peloton. You want to keep on looking at names that are in the news for some sort of a reason, right? So there's another one with TikTok. All right, SoFi went up a little bit. I don't want to like necessarily get out for flat. We're long at 49, basically flat. I will take something out at 50 because we do have decent size.
It's 50.
There is also, I don't know if that's going to be real or not because we've had some bats book issues, but there is a nice. Shoot.
Nope.
The market's
real
turning.
To me, but
I mean, hold on a second. That would have been 180,000 shares.
there's 4. Do you see the 4?
There's 20,000. Just trying to see if there's enough shares here on the level on the see. So I don't think that went through because you've had to see 180,000 shares there, and I was just
Hold on a second.
briefly adding it up.
4.
No,
You don't see 400.
no, I don't see that.
Yes, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, that guy's not standing there. Yeah, well, Neil's just showing the book there. I don't think it's there. Okay, here we go. Nice, finally. Peloton. Ugh. Too many names, man, my guy. I'm in too many stocks here. Tesla now dropping. That's what I was trying to say. So let's go Tesla and let's go SoFi down to the downside.
We still have 20% off, guys. Go take advantage of it from our friends over at Trade Ideas, bringing you the rundown as per normal. If you haven't taken advantage of it, use that QR code, bottom right corner right now. We'll get you 20% off. TraderTV.20 is the promotional code if you'd like that. Check out their web app version. You do get charting, you get stock news, you get all the details on the financial side that you need to know. You get these cool races that Michael Noss has been on the show many times talking about. So go check out their web app version as well, guys, for Trade Ideas.
Yes, sir. Speaking of trade ideas, let's look at some Alibaba. Baba, as a few people on this show like to call it, that are not me. I'll do my best not to call this Boeing because that's the mistake that I'll usually make. But this morning, look, Alibaba's down 2%. It's been a rough year for them. Valuation is good, but the Chinese names, and this one in particular, because of competition, you got the spin-offs that haven't really materialized for them. The cloud spin-off, which they kind of shelved, and all the ARM stuff. Again, there's just a lot to get into for them. But this morning there was a huge liquidity grab. You can see here at the open, it went like $1.50 almost. Immediately recovered, came right back into this opening top, and then failed again. So I'm on the offer. The recovery, by the way, was right in here to 75. So now that it's stair-stepping to the downside and the market's looking like it's going down, I want to try to short this. Matter of fact, wet the beak in the 90s. I want to get a fill. Ideally, I could get something which didn't fill me at 96. So I just took something at 92, and I'll add to it if I can get 95, 96 up here. And I want to give it a few shekels past the 75 level. There's about 25 to 30 cents of range in here if it holds this area, so risking about 10 is reasonable. And if it breaks the low and the market trends down, all the better. It's a Chinese ADR, so the anticipation that it could just be a range trade is fine for me, but I don't want to give it too far past the 75 level here on BABA. So that's just a little something that's not necessarily new, although I haven't traded Alibaba in at least, actually that's not true. I think I traded it once this week. So I've traded it once in the new year. Used to be something that we traded a heck of a lot more. But today, downward trend, down 2%, market's heading to the downside. I just want to follow the trend with Alibaba. So that's the only new thing for me. I was going to get to Amazon because sometimes it be like that, Neil. That same setup where I was looking for buyers on Peloton above 580, I was looking for buyers above Amazon at 145. Why? Because Amazon had the 50-period moving average at 145. I'm like, if it can hold that at the open, I want to look for some longs that can go. It did, it's just not when I was, like I was in it, and it bounced off of, like this wick here is 144.5. It came right back above 150, so it made like nice little 50-cent bounce. I got into the long a couple times there. It immediately rejected it. Even if I decided to hold it to the previous low, all it would have done is just go even lower and stop me out worse. So the fact that I stopped it out for about like 30 cents there, I mean, like even if I hold it, I'm holding it to a level that I'm stopping out somewhere else. It ended up working, so I'm not happy about it. But the key thing is it's back at 145 right now. So it has a chance to close above the 50 period on the daily, which I think is usually pretty bullish if a stock can do that when it's had a downward turn. So I want to give this a chance to bounce off this level. So I'm going to jump into this. As a matter of fact, probably should have been on the bid as we were looking at something else there. It just got down to the teens, I just realized. So Amazon, that 145 is the key for me. And if it happens to go where that dark pool wick is at 150, that'd be just great.
I just want to say shout out to Kian Johnny here. What's up, Kian Johnny? Tesla, huge wick. Yeah, man. And guess what? We were there. There it is. We got that because I saw it happen before. It happened before. So last time it broke, it stopped at 87. So I bid 85, or I think maybe 80. Was it 85? Yeah, the fill was 85. I should have bid 87 actually. But yeah, Kian, so we saw that, we hit it. I'm not bidding it anymore. Let's see if it wants to flush. Let's just hope it does. And it just continues to flush down. I mean, ultimately, guys, I just took some out at 48 on SoFi right now. It's like I am way over long. Like I'm overexposed to the long here on SoFi. I don't, we saw it get cranked yesterday. Its second worst day ever was yesterday for SoFi, down 13 change, maybe 14 at the end of the day, but still completely clubbed yesterday on a downgrade. I mean, you could see really got going early and then just basically stopped at 8:30. Was that 8:30? Yeah, 8:30 bottom. So it's like we actually took that out today. So when, I don't know if the long per se is right on this one. I did take another piece out on Palantir. I just sort of, it's the same kind of a trade that we've had all day, swooshing back up. We had a grade out basically at the top there. That was absolutely fantastic. Okay, I thought I got filled on Tesla again. I was like, I don't have a bid until 238. I don't have a bid until 238.20 on Tesla, okay? The other trade that I see some people asking me about is going to be Roblox. And yeah. I don't know. This is that same trade that we had from the morning. It's just we got some good outs. Like we got 42.75. I was waiting for 43. Do you know where it stopped at? 42.97. So, lesson learned. I was waiting for it to break. It's not like I was going to put a piece there at 43. I wasn't. That's why I'm saying lesson learned. Should have sat there with an order, because if I'm thinking 43, I'm getting out like at 42.90 or 42.95 or something. You don't really sit at even levels for that, because this is what could happen. So it came back in. We hit the 50-period moving average, and we got a piece out of that one. Come on, SoFi. Like, maybe I just have to go to 49 now.
I'm still seeing these bids.
Yeah, I turned off Bat's book. So I think it's the BAT.
It is. It's.
So I see it now. I think it's the BTZ book or something like that, isn't it? But anyways, yeah, this is not real. So, we have a reporting structure here, and if you have any issues with quotes.
Which is fantastic.
The only problem is I think they'd have to turn off that book and then turn it back on. So this is the only stock that's, kind of sketchy for that. It's not worth it, because it'll screw up everybody else's company-wide. It's
Day Trade the World, P-Pro is built for traders. And it's not necessarily by traders, but it is kind of by traders. It's like the reporting system is traders that are sitting here looking at the markets every single day, put feedback into this is what we want to have. This is the tool that we want to see in there. This is visually what we want it to be able to do. And that's where it's built. And there's, I don't know the exact number, but I'd say a couple of hundred offices worldwide where you have traders on prop floors that are contributing to the platform every single day. That's why, I'll see something like that. I'm like, hey, if I think it's a problem, I'm going to put a ticket in for it. And if it's an issue, it's an issue. If it isn't, who cares? And when we wanted bracket orders, we asked for bracket orders in the platform, and we got them. I don't know, I forget exactly when, but that's the first thing that came to mind. I have no idea why bracket orders
and now you use them so much.
Well, I'm not even somebody that...
I don't even use them either.
I'm not somebody that uses bracket orders, but I know a lot of people do use bracket orders. Yeah, the point is
it's customizable, and, it's...
Right, like it wasn't there when we started trading.
Pulling up my socks.
It's there now because a bunch of people... I actually just noticed that you had a haircut, and now the conversation between you and Randy makes way more sense when he came by.
What did he say?
No, because you were talking about like a lineup or something.
Yes,
and he was like, you're just popular. You were saying how long you were waiting. I'm like, what are you were? Cause I just figured you were like shopping or something.
There's this one barber so most barbers, of course, if they're a real barber, they're not going to take, there's no reservations or like anything like that. You'll walk in. If you can see the guy, you see the guy. We all have barbers that we like. But there's this one by my house that actually has an app, and it's not that bad. It shows you how many are in line. Okay, so it's not...
That's great.
Right, so it's not like a reservation system. You can put yourself in line.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like, and that's what I was thinking. I was trying to tell him that because I kind of got there, and he's gonna take me. But anyways, the idea is that somebody else walked in, and he's like, hey man, I text you at 12:40, but the guy walked in at 1:10. Meanwhile, I was waiting for somebody else to go, and then I was next.
Yeah, I mean.
But the guy was like, "Yeah, I messaged you," and then the barber's like, "But it's 1:10 now." Everything gets all screwed up. And then I was thinking to myself, that's the problem with not taking It's not reservation. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it is a reservation.
Okay.
My barber has the reservations. I mean, it's
Yeah, because then
if you know West Indian business, then you'll understand the point. Like there is a reservation, but like I'm going literally tonight, and my reservation's at 5:30.
like my barber shouldn't charge me anything.
matter.
Like it takes him like 10 seconds to do it. The whole idea is get some of those whites out, you know, and then just give the fade and all that kind of stuff. I've got the podcast tomorrow. I'm trying to look handsome. How the hell do I compete?
It's not easy to do. Come on, man.
Oh, no. I'm just saying that's all he's doing. And then I got to compete besides Brendan and you. So, you know, that's
don't
Sharif, I have no problem competing with. It's the
Don't
two
look
of you
at
guys
me.
that's
Look,
the problem.
See that?
So
I'm gonna try to shave it down.
few time.
I'd have to go bald to get rid of my gray, which I think is fine.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go bald at one point. You were during COVID a couple times, weren't you?
Oh, I shaved my head during
Yeah,
COVID
like-
because I
like
couldn't go to
Bic
my
shave.
barber. I also know.
Oh, that's why.
I've been slowly preparing my wife for the fact that I will eventually be shaving my head bald. I told her, like, I've always had that plan. She prefers it a little bit with hair. My daughter loves it when it's a cue ball look. So I have her on my side, which is pretty much all I think I need at this point.
Appointment.
But I like it. Oh, your appointment. Well,
That's
you
the
can
right
say
word.
reservation. What's wrong?
No, but you don't say reservation is not the right terminology. You don't make a reservation with your barber. You make a reservation with the restaurant.
So you know what's jokes? The service or website that
Yeah.
the barber uses is called Reserva. So that's
Oh,
probably
right. It's fine, but
that's the name of the site that he uses
appointment, I think, is
to make
right.
to make the appointments. It actually says appointment when you go to the site, but because the site's called Reserva, and I don't know why I'm giving an ad for Reserva right now, but apparently
I don't think anybody really.
I know outside of the context of him using it, I have
never.
no idea what they were. But that's why I call it a reservation. Let's get back to the markets for a split second. And no, Mr. Allen, I will not be doing dreads. The amount of time it would take me to grow hair long enough, my brother could do it. Now, he's got very healthy, like he grows a beard and everything. Like me, I just can't. It's not happening. So it would take me so long to even grow that much. When I was younger, I could have done it because I was at the fro and everything was cool.
Your brother still has a fro, no, or something
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
I mean, he's not.
He had that flat top.
He's not graying really. He like his hair is all full and whatnot. And that said, you can just we can look at our family and you know the good times aren't lasting forever, bro. You're gonna be like me soon. Not to be mean about it. But Alibaba got in here. I did say I wanted to add to it at 96, so I added to it at 96. It just popped down into the 80s, got some 85s. I'll bid 75s and 70s. 2 cent downside. You're not really flying around in this market, so you're just looking for some trades off of some key levels that you can work with. I'm still in that SoFi from earlier, and I did grab Amazon on a little bit of a dip here. Hard to see. The bottom is 145.12 here, and then the top of the range since we came back on air is 145.50, and VWAP sits underneath 146. So you're talking about less than $1 to VWAP and 30 cents to the resistance zone for the last hour. So if I'm risking to the even, then I'm going to be covering something in front of the 50 level for sure, and then VWAP as well. These dark pools are kind of skewing the chart up just a little bit, and you're absolutely right about. So this is a good one. John DiPietro, kid and play hair.
Right. Yeah.
When I talk about the cameo, people always tell me, "Oh, did you have something like Will Smith from Fresh Prince?" And I'm like, "No, it's from Kid and Play," and 100%. If I could dig, there's like one really good picture I'd have to find my dad has. I had the best, like I had a high cameo in junior high. It was great. Except I can't find that one picture. And then it was reasonable most times, but there was like one summer or 1 month I just let that sucker grow, and I did have like a 2 or 3 inch. Like you guys can picture what a cameo looks like. I just can't do that anymore. It would be nice to, but you get older.
Yeah. Just real quick, we are going to be getting ready to go with Frank in a minute. I just so we got out of Roblox. We have 10% left. It's like the typical move that I do. It looks like must be 9 outs here. It's falling down. So I just, London Bridge is falling down. The market's coming in a little bit here. Just looking at a longer time frame. I'm trying to play off this 50-period moving average right here, right? We broke it, went up, was bouncing off of it and down until we finally broke. So this is 42.20. So I still like the long. I'm going to take it against 42. So if by chance this continues its move this way, and Frank comes through, you won't see our positions, and you'll be knowing that I'm getting longer at 42.20. I just think this market could be going south side a little bit more here. And then, unfortunately, we talked about SoFi and not getting good feels, so we did get some out there a little bit. It's not great. I mean, it's not bad. Our average price is 49. But, you know, I'm playing with other people's money. So, you know, I'm putting in some decent amount of shares, and it looks like we will be falling through 45. And then when we do that, last time we kind of bounced off 44, but if it breaks that, then, well, here it goes. Then SoFi is probably going to be coming out of this account very, very soon. So watch out for SoFi, a couple more pennies lower. Tesla is still 70 cents in the money and going lower. Mobileye, we have our targets, and we just talked about Roblox. So, okay, as this market goes down, maybe, you know, there's that rumor that Frank pumps the market. He might be in for it today because this market's going downside.
Oh, I just got stopped out of SoFi.
Yeah, stopped out SoFi. Back over to Brendo.
Probably a good thing.
We'll see how this goes. But anyway, let's talk about a big number coming up tomorrow. We've already had two employment-related data points to kind of digest this week. Contradicting each other, really, after the ADP number this morning and the JOLTS number going back to yesterday. The big one coming up tomorrow morning, as we've been saying all day long, non-farm payrolls for December, closely watched by the Fed. Could be important, could be, who knows, bit of a nothing, because it seems like there's a little bit more uneasiness coming back into this inflation talk and the way the market is at least looking at this going into not only the end of the month where we'll hear from the Fed, but March as well. These percentages are shifting around. We'll get to that in a minute, but yields continuing to bounce here as well to start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think tomorrow will be a big price action event, Brendan, even if it's not necessarily a big news event. And we'll get to the number in a second. And the reason I think that is because to kick off the year here, either the institutional volume or the retail volume or both has been pushing around markets just organically with little to no economic data releases or news. I think the biggest news item I've seen this whole week is the downgrade on Apple, and that's been pushing the stock market lower. But something that I jumped on to talk about with you earlier in the week, and I'll admit I was completely wrong on, was this burgeoning story around yields bouncing back. And I kind of threw it away as, it's the first trading day of the year. And, you know, we're coming off of this move in the 10-year from 5% all the way down to below 4%. And so what's a, 5-10 basis point rally that we got on Tuesday, that has quickly become more like a 20 basis point rally. And as we speak, 10 years are pushing 4% again for the first time since that December FOMC meeting where they didn't do anything but started to talk about rate cuts for the first time. And like I say, this is something that absolutely is not at this moment a throwaway story like I thought on Tuesday. And to get further knowledge on that, my reasoning behind it is the rate cuts are starting to come out, my friend. We'll see how much of it comes out. And of course, we'll see what happens at the January meeting and at the March meeting, which has been the one that the market has thought will get the first rate cut. And these odds have gone from 85% when we jumped on to talk the last time before the end of 2023. Earlier this week, we talked and it was 81%. Now down to 65% chance of a rate cut in the March meeting. Now, does this mean that the market is completely reversing course and now they're going to go back into a rate hiking environment? No, but you and I talked about this after that December FOMC. The Fed comes out, says that they're getting ready to normalize rates lower, i.e. cut interest rates. And they come out with a dot plot that is relatively conservative, especially compared to what the market was thinking at that time and thought between then, mid-December, and the end of the year. And now the market is actually starting to align more with that dot plot. At one point, the Fed dot plot was showing 2 to 3 cuts in 2024, and the market was showing more like 4 to 6 cuts. And now those chances are definitely coming in of more rate cuts and starting to align more with that dot plot. And I think you are starting to see that in the stock market. Whereas Tuesday, I was like, this is one day. It's been a pretty direct continuation of those moves that we saw to start the year.
It's we've talked about it many times in the sense that this is a moving goalpost and always is on a daily basis. You know, this is fluctuating around. How much weight do you put on what we heard yesterday from those Fed meeting minutes that came out in the afternoon? I mean, it was a little more hawkish, I think, than some were expecting, given that, as you said, you know, that was the meeting that Fed Chair Powell came out and actually made the turn and said, yes, we're going to have to make some adjustments to the downside going into 2024. But yesterday we saw there was, you know, some indications that depending on how things go, you know, hikes not even off the table.
Yeah, I think that the market took that as it was actually interesting right off of the event. The market translated it a little bit dovish. And then I think to your point, as it continued to digest yesterday afternoon and then into this morning as well, you see obviously the huge move in bonds to the downside and rates again to the upside, starting to be translated as hawkish. But also, I mean, to be completely frank with you, Brendan, the minutes to me doesn't mean nearly as much as a non-farm payrolls or a substantial number like we're going to get tomorrow morning. So it's really hard to tell. Yeah, if you looked at the 5-minute chart of U.S. dollar and rates right around that announcement, that's when the market actually started to turn back a little bit and reverse some of that move. But yeah, in the 24 hours since those minutes came out, it's been almost another full point lower in 10-year note futures and another 10 basis points higher in those 10-year rates. So we'll see what the rhetoric ends up being. Obviously, we won't get the Fed again until the end of January, but the data point tomorrow will be very, very interesting to see where the trend continues. And here I wanted to highlight a little bit of, we look at the Fed Watch tool so much, Brendan. The Fed Watch tool, keep in mind, takes in the Fed funds futures prices that, of course, are fluctuating every day that futures markets are open on interest rates, and that's what's pushing around the odds. And as you can see here, this chart is showing you the rally in Fed funds futures from November to the end of the year, coinciding with a drop off in the projection for the Fed funds rate. Remember that the Treasury prices and bond prices move inversely with yields. Same relationship here, and you can see that rally there from $95 to $96 in the futures. That coincides with a 100 basis point cut. This product is priced 100 minus the price is the rate, so 100 minus 95 was a 5% projection for 2024. And when the futures rallied to 96, 100 minus 96, that's a 4% projection now for the end of 2024, these futures being the DEES 24 futures. And then the last week of price action being that reversal, pricing out a 25 basis point cut. And I wanted to line this up with the exact same timing of the NASDAQ in our next slide here, because you can see that 1% of rate cuts being priced in coincided with a 16.5% rally in the NASDAQ. And now the last handful of days, you saw 25 basis points of give back, one rate cut coinciding with about 3.5% in the market. Now, this math is never as clean or direct as you think it's going to be, but that does give you a little back of the envelope math for, okay, well, if they price back in that rate cut and nothing else happens, then maybe that's worth 3 to 4% in the NASDAQ. If they start to price out another rate cut, another 25 basis points, or 2 or 3, they get back down to thinking that there's going to be no rate cuts here in 2024, that could be substantial for the NASDAQ to the tune of, that 10 to 15% rally at the end of the year. Again, all of that being said, there's of course stock specific news that's going on all the time. The market environment is changing all the time. So it's never so direct. But I thought an interesting bit of math pricing in 100 basis points of cuts at the end of last year, coinciding with about 15-16% in the NASDAQ. The last couple of days pricing out 25 basis points, coinciding with about 3 to 4%. The math is kind of checking out, and we would expect that tomorrow's non-farm will probably shift around these odds and these prices again.
Yeah, it's a great point, and also kind of corresponds with the fact that they're not just pushing it down the road, to later in the year. It's, as you said, coming out of the market entirely at this point. So let's get to what's coming up tomorrow, because as we said, it's going to be an important number, not only for the market, but the economy, obviously. We are expecting another uptick as far as the print is concerned for the December number, but give us two sides of the scenario here. On a what if, it's a big miss, what if it's a big beat?
Yeah, I think that this number could be really interesting. I think it has the opportunity to be a big miss or a big beat. Now, the projection is right there in the middle of what the market has been projecting the last several non-farm payrolls, which is right between 150 and 200,000. And if we get a number that is smack dab in the middle there, 150, I think would be translated as, given historical correlations, would be translated as a good number for stocks, bad for rates. Something in the 170 to 180 realm might be some fluttering of prices around the number, but essentially unchanged. If you get up to a 190 or 200,000 print, especially with the way the market has gone the first couple of days of the year here, that might be a bad number for stocks and a hawkish number for rates. And you might see another chunk of rate cut get priced out and some downside in especially that NASDAQ that's been weaker to kick off this year. But yeah, I mean, I look at this chart of non-farms, especially over the course of the last couple of months here, Brendan, and it's been actually pretty choppy, especially going back to prior to October there, in the August, September into October range. There were some under expectation and then a big over expectation and then back under again. And right now we're set up for, I think, again, an opportunity for either a big beat or a big miss. Now, at the end of the day, what will it actually mean for rates in 2024? Relatively little, but I think all of these markets, bonds and stocks, and then of course Forex and commodities on down the road, are in a really vulnerable point right now that could be really sensitive to, like I say, a big beat or a big miss. But yeah, we're in that rare circumstance that might sound crazy to viewers, that actually a miss on employment here, and under on that 170 number, would be translated potentially as good for stocks, and a big beat would potentially lead to higher inflation and reason to not be cutting rates sooner rather than later out of the Fed.
Yeah, I saw a few people mentioning the fact that, and we talk about this every time, I think there's a non-farm number, but the two numbers prior to it going into the non-farm payroll once again this week have been contradicting each other. So there's really no indication as far as, or even correspondence at this point, as far as what is to come tomorrow. We've seen it work both ways, where the first two are one direction, then we get a huge print on the non-farm payrolls number the opposite way. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But just quickly, just to wrap up, going into CPI and then going into the Fed at the end of the month, I mean, anything else in between there that people should maybe have their eye on as far as indication at this point? Because let's face it, there's going to be a few weeks here, as you said, before we hear from the Fed again.
Yeah, I think anything out of the other global central banks will be huge. Now, that's always been huge for primarily Forex business, IG's business, our business. So I'm a little biased that, of course, we're watching all the central banks. But I mean, Brendan, you know, there in Canada and watching all of these Forex markets and watching the central banks from the Euro area and from the UK and and Australia, everybody, for the most part, hiked with each other. And then everybody over the course of the last couple of months has more or less alluded to the end of hikes either being there or coming soon. And so I'm going to also be watching, especially for the stock side of things, these global central banks to see if they get more heavily into this rate cutting rhetoric, or if they stand pat on they might hike. I mean, you remember the Bank of England and the European Central Bank in their last meetings of 2023 were actually a little bit more hawkish than the Fed. And so if they hold out more hawkish, then that might be reason for the Fed on that global level to not necessarily be the first one to cut. Whereas, you know, I mean, you're talking about the first couple of days off of that December FOMC, and everybody priced into the dollar and U.S. rates and U.S. stocks with that rally, the fact that the U.S. might be the first to cut. And if those global central banks do remain in that hawkish stance, then the Fed might follow suit and might push off those cuts to later in the year. And to your point earlier in our segment here, might start to price out the chance at 3 or 4 or 5 rate cuts, which is where we currently are relative to their dot plot, which is still 2 to 3 rate cuts. So I'll be watching that, as well as the domestic inflation and central bank meeting later in the month here.
Yeah, how times change very quickly. I mean, going into the end of the year, things so positive in the favor of the stock market and in the favor of inflation going down, rates potentially coming down, and now a week later here we are. So yeah, we'll pay attention tomorrow morning. We'll touch base again with Frank Caberna, the Director of Strategy over at IG.com on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thank you. As always, a big shout out and a thank you to Frank for,
It was really being Frank there. That's
exactly, and that's what you come for. You come for the real goods, which is exactly what Frank is able to give us.
Thank you, Fabian.
Twice a week. Although, hey, easy on the talk of rate hikes. Come on now. I don't want no rate
Take it
hikes.
easy.
Take it easy. The market made a little bit of a bounce. It's not like we're not running up 1,000,000 points, but Frank did bounce us. And if you're watching for the first time, it's just sort of like an inside thing.
Damn you, Frank.
Mostly it's power hour. Maybe that's a time where you get some moves in the market. But we've generally seen a bit of an uptick when Frank is on. Thankfully, we're about 15 points off of when he came up here, but not a gigantic move in the futures if you want to quickly just see. Like, we were trending to the downside. This is a 15-minute chart of the NASDAQ. Nice little bounce off the lows. I did get a couple of things happening. One was Amazon essentially inside of this range. I know it's sometimes tough to see. Long here in 17s. This local high is at 50. So I got some out in front of that. If it gets to VWAP, great. That's going to be well under the 146 level. Like, VWAP is sitting here at 145.78. So if it goes another 25, 30 cents, you got to be happy with that based on this move, at least in the tight consolidation that it has. Oh, something else just came in, and I'm going to get to Peloton next. I was going to talk about Alibaba, but Peloton just went for a little bit of a scalp trade. I saw, he's not even, that's right. That was probably on bats. Okay, so anyways, I'll explain what just happened. Like, when I got trailed out of Peloton, it then turned around at 6.7. Like, the second I got trailed out of Peloton, it turned at 6.17. It then bounced off 6.17 like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it was an 8th time it was about to bounce off the same level. I saw some size on the bid too. So I went long, and I got long and it just kind of instantly broke, but then I remembered there's a decent chance that probably wasn't shares at that level. So anyways, that's the reason I got in and out for a 1 cent stop on Peloton at that level. Probably a good level to have traded off of. But when you notice something like this, generally speaking, as a day trader, when you're looking to scalp this, you want to start going long off that right away, so that if it breaks on you, you've at least made money like 4 or 5 times off the level. Like, that's the general idea. I just saw it late with that size, or that may or may not have been there, and just got in and out. It'll cost a penny, but sometimes you're trading that on a $6 stock. Alibaba, I didn't get a reload. We got the 75 fill, so we shorted into the 75, 90, 74, 96 was the best fill. as mentioned. I got a bid here at 76, so risking a few pennies up there to be able to get this range. I didn't get reloaded as it missed me by 1 cent here, but I am looking for a reload on Alibaba on the way back up. So I was able to get half of it out. I'll maybe make a reload a bit here on BABA. Amazon, we've already gone over. There was something else I wanted to get to. Oh, QuantumScape. Look, obviously QuantumScape, you're watching the midday show. Sharif was long QuantumScape. I'm going to go out on a limb and say nothing was moving the way QuantumScape was moving during the middle of the day. It has seemingly run out of gas at exactly $10. So it got to 10.03 and it's starting to pull back. I suppose that's a logical level, but it's starting to catch a bit of a bid here. I would have thought maybe you get to like 9 on a pullback because the stock is up like $3.50. Why wouldn't it pull back at least $1? But that's finding a bit of a bid here, I'd say at a random price at 9.37. So I was kind of thinking there'd be a dip buy opportunity if it really flushed, like a hammer down and rubber band, but all it's done is slowly slide down, and I don't really see an obvious area to buy, maybe the quarters or maybe the 9 even. But it's running out of steam, the volume's tapering down. Got an hour left, so it can always pick back up there. But I think the reload on Amazon, if I can get it down in the teens, short back into BABA, could come into play in a few cents here. And those are two things I'm looking at. I still have Peloton on the radar, but that was more of a scalp trade that we got in and out of. If it pops into $6, I'll probably buy the dip at 6, if it gets there.
Yeah, so, you know, while you were gone, some stuff happened, but not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, Roblox went up, and then Tesla went up as well. And we're actually, again, this is part of the problem when we go to break. It's not part of the problem. It's great to have Frank on there. It's just like I have so many outs. Like we got a 240 fill. Like we started the trade there. We talked about that. And then that's at 239.50. We weren't able to get really anything out on that. I mean, it did go down in the money about 30 cents or so into the 20s. But then we got a great fill on that wick top right there up to 240, but that's where we are right now. So unfortunately, our best out is 239.44, so right in front of this 50 period moving average. So, you know, we wound up okay on Tesla. I mean, look, we'll lose a breakthrough 240, a little bit higher than that, and we're going to be out of this one. But that's why you massage out of your position so that you're not like, you know, getting hit over and over again on the full lot. We still have just under half left. So, you know, we take 34. I mean, the best out we have is 40 cents, and it ultimately, you know, the out will be 40 cents a hit or so, 35 cents or so of a hit. So not great, but, you know, I still want to hold it against that. Thing is, the futures, if we're going to talk about trades, I mean, we're still underneath VWAP here, and that to me is what's going to matter. This is the ultimate kill zone for shorts up here, 16,530. So if you take that, then that's going to be a problem, and we'll see what happens from there. So, oh man, SoFi, like this is not going to look good.
Marvel.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to look at all this. Look at SoFi out. I mean, this is like, it breaks VWAP. We gave it a couple pennies, and then we got out basically 1 or 2 pennies from that bottom move. And then now it's all the way back up, and we'd be able to make money. Remember, we were long 48 and change, and we were starting to get it out here at like 47 for a hit or whatever, and now it's all the way back up. So we can make a lot more money on Tesla if it actually even goes down, but yeah, that sucks for that one. Mobileye's not really moving around. And then Roblox, I mean, we said we'd wait for 43. If 43 comes back, great. Otherwise, we'll wait for that little bit of a move to the downside. Yeah, I mean, Micron, we should have. Again, like we talked about doing this, and I didn't do it because I'm just waiting for other things to happen. But Micron right there, again, you know, we bought 83 a bunch of times. Don't know why we didn't do it again, but here it comes right back up to the upside. As someone says right there, what's up to John Reinhardt? You've been here for a long time, so you know how I trade. So good job on that one, John. I should have been in there with you. Here comes Tesla breaking through 240. So we're not too far away from getting, there it is, from getting stopped out right now on Tesla. So we got it at 75% of it up there at 10s. So 10, so it's only actually, that's not bad. 25-cent hit. So net, this idea is going to wind up working, but basically a flat trade. So not working after fees and all that kind of stuff. So we tried it on Tesla. Looks like it wants to go back up to the upside as the futures are just kind of dancing around. Let's just be patient here as we enter into power hour. You know, the market's kind of just, I thought we had a chance to get down. That's why I had no problem holding that Tesla trade. But now it looks like we're right back up to VWAP. It's that SoFi that's going to get me the most upset out of everything. But after that, you know, we'll wait for another opportunity, maybe the banks.
I've asked Brennan about, because I haven't found anything on Marvell here. But Marvell, it was doing nothing, and now it's up 4%. Now, I've marked this off, and shout out, a lot of people have been talking about this in the chat, and I just saw at least some chatter about what I'm probably about to say. Like, if it gets to the $60 level, and I don't see anything that's gigantic news that I think can really materially change things, said that right, then this $60 level is going to stand out like a sore thumb. It's at 59 and could be curling, but that's where I'd look for a for sure fade at that price. Maybe it's going to fade here now. Do want to still see if we can keep the ear to the ground. It might have already made, okay, it could be turning here at 59. But we'll keep our ears to the ground to see what's going on here with Marvell. Absolutely flying there. Double checking as always. I mean, I'm not going to, when you see this happen, generally speaking, is anything running in sympathy? Like I looked over, NVIDIA's not really doing a heck of a lot. So it's not as if you're getting some of these other chip names that are flying around. This is definitely something very specific to Marvell, which is likely hit the wire, at least someone's caught wind of. I did get a reload in Alibaba, but with the market starting to pump back up, this could still run into some pressure. Like it's got room to VWAP. Clearly, I've shorted it in front of the 75 even, which has nothing to do with VWAP. A lot of times you look for the VWAP retrace. It's made one good move. The reload doesn't have to work just because it worked the first time. That's how trading is. Going to adjust the stop there. Oh, already had it in, so we're fine. I'm going to give it a couple pennies above that 75, as we mentioned before, but not too much room. And I'll get out again some at in front of 80 if it does pop down, and then trying to get some in the 70s as well. So like piecing it out as it works to the downside, just anticipating that the range is going to hold on. Amazon is at 60s, and I'm at 70s on Amazon. NASDAQ stock going from NASDAQ to New York. So I'm looking for VWAP retracement here. If the futures are going to sit in this range and Amazon's going to sit in this range, then I'm going to trade the range as long as we can. And because I wanted to wait for an opportunity, and I promised Bears versus Bulls. He was like, "Are you going to talk about this one?" And I actually I always want to have a stock with segue because I like talking about the markets. Up 3% today, which we would probably never talk about this stock. I don't think.
Not too much.
Not too often. Crocs is up 3% today. It's at the high of the day into a market that's doing absolutely nothing, which is good because it's a stock that has pulled back. However, one of the reasons why they might be under pressure the last little bit is because you know how durable these things are, right? Like I know I've had the same Crocs forever, but I'm a lucky son of a gun. I got home yesterday and my daughter had done something which I know she was going to do this. My Crocs, which I've had for about 1 million years, I don't even know how old they are. Like they're all torn up, and they actually needed to be replaced.
Yeah, mine are I think 30 years old.
So how old they can be, I think that's how old they are. And so when I got home, she had done this. I had them out to go into the garbage. I just hadn't taken them out because I hadn't gotten around to it. Dad life, sometimes you just forget things. So can I full screen this? Whatever, you guys can get the idea. Hopefully. I just clicked it. There you go. Now it full screens. So she put tape on the worst of these, and she's 6. And then she wrote me a note that said, "From Aaron to Daddy, you know that your old Crocs were broken. I fixed it for you." And the good thing about this is I only cried once when I saw that note. And then she wanted me to write, I wrote her a note back that's for me and her because she left a space which says your message because she loves to.
Yeah, you're right.
She loves to write
That's
notes
good.
back and forth. So I gave her a nice message. It was incredibly sweet. I have bought new Crocs because I really did need them. And we did fix
it's not going to fix it.
And we fixed them with duct tape a little bit better. So because that was like Scotch tape. She couldn't reach the duct tape. That was the other issue. So it was super sweet. The thing I was the most proud of was when she came home from camp. And I had seen this, and my wife hadn't even gotten home yet, bringing her from camp. She just came in, she's like, "What are we playing today, Daddy?" And I was like, "Aren't you going to say something about it?" She just did it because she cared. Like, she didn't say, "Oh my goodness, Daddy, look what I did for you." It wasn't even about that. She was, when I pointed out to her, she's like, "Yeah, your Crocs, I thought they should be fixed." And I'm like living here, like welling up, like, "Oh my goodness, that's so thoughtful." And to her, it was just another Wednesday. Which I thought was incredibly sweet. And now all of a sudden I want to own Crocs shares, but I'm not going to. That's how I am. Oh, I forgot to show this while I was on Twitter. I'll try to find it, but Westermeyer sent us a picture. I'm going to pull it up when I can.
Oh, okay, good. Nice. Thanks,
Dan,
Westermeyer.
Dan was watching the show today. We'll be jealous about this. I'm just talking until I can find it.
All right. All right. So
Let me find it.
Yeah, we got a little bit back into Tesla here because, again, we got stopped out, but the market also. I mean, we got stopped out. The trade stopped. It's not really like, oh my God, we need this to work or anything. But we did bounce off of VWAP right there. So that's that, right? So we'll wait to see if we do make another low here. I'm bidding in the 50s. Like, I want to take 50 cents, 40 cents on this one. If it could come back in, that'd be great. I'm still peed off about SoFi. Why is Microsoft tanking? Tanking, Zion?
Could this have something to do with the
Actually, it is starting to make the move to the downside right now. What's the market doing? Yeah, the market's going down. I mean, I'm happy as, with this Tesla short, but yeah, this one is even better. Microsoft, was there news? Did I miss it? I don't know. It's more aggressive than everything else.
That's more aggressive than everything.
What is Apple doing? Yeah, Apple's not doing anything. Amazon is not. Amazon's down 2 and a bit. Look at these stupid wicks on Amazon chart. Wow, okay. I can't really look at that one. All right, so Tesla, I am bidding 53. 53. Money. Like you can't do that when we are loaded to the, but oh well. We will have it now as we got out at 75% and then put them right back on. So again, pretty happy with it, but not overly happy because it's going to the downside and that's good for me, but we did have bigger position. We had about, not double the shares, less than that, but we had enough to make some money. But anyways, we're still making money here. So 40 cents right there. Let's see what happens with Tesla. It's really SoFi that I've talked about that I'm not overly pleased with because this one ran and,
It was the liquidity.
Yeah, kind of grabbed us there at the end.
What's frustrating about that is, like earlier on when that level isn't as obvious, it's a little easier to have that stop. But then later in the day, when suddenly that level that you like, like everybody likes it, that's when they can really stop. Like somebody can just really run that stop because it's such a good support level. It tested like 5 times.
You just got to.
They're gonna run it there. I just got the fill, so I'm gonna ring it on BABA. I think this is. When you get a Chinese ADR that gives you a level in the afternoon, sometimes it'll just give it to you and then it won't break out because there's lower volume. It's obviously, things slow down for some of the Asian ADRs. But when you get to the second half of the day, that just goes without saying. So sticking to the pocket there, although Amazon is coming back in, I didn't get the fill at VWAP. Alibaba, because I have the short, is starting to work into the downside. So the thing about range trading is oftentimes if you have something that you have a range for the short as a scalp trade and something you have a range like a scalp trade to the long side, you can play both ends of it. If you don't want to do that on the same stock, like I can like the short on this one, the long somewhere else, that way in each move, you can be getting both sides of a move, but not having to stay away, not having to go away from the direction that you want on a particular name. So I like BABA to the short side. When it gets to the bottom, I can cover some, but I can go long something else. And I did find it. Mr. Westermeyer, who came to visit us and took us out to dinner, was watching the show today in what I think is a pretty cool, I mean, if I could watch the show while fishing, that would be pretty cool. So this is him. He's got us on the cell phone there. Doing it the right way, sir, is all I have to say. Looking fantastic. He's got about 1 million rods there. I don't know what kind of boat it is. I'm sure Randy could tell us exactly what that is and how.
Fishing boat.
I know it's a fishing boat, but
I know.
Randy's probably going to be able to. The thing about Randy is the guy's a jack of all trades. Like if he was here, he'd probably say this is this brand, it can do this, it retails for whatever, and you can buy it, use it this place. Like he's just kind of that kind of a dude.
Yep.
But anybody that doesn't like fishing, it's just a good thing to do with the boys, whether you're into fishing or not. It's really more about kicking back and having fun. So I hope you're enjoying yourself. Well, I know you're enjoying yourself if you're doing that. It's not fishing weather here, unless you're into ice fishing, which I damn sure am not. I'm not one of those people.
No.
You don't ice fish.
No, but I would. I mean, for the same reasons why I would do the other fishing.
Okay, well, okay.
Chilling out. Time to chill out. I mean, you kind of said it. So, yeah, that's
true. But I said
that's.
I'm
down with that.
The Deep River brother-in-law.
Ice fishing is great.
They did invite me once.
Yep.
Before I was before I had married Rebecca, we were dating, and so it was like the boyfriends. And whatever, they were going up north. I wasn't that into again, I wasn't like married or anything, so I was like, I really don't want to go ice fishing. Now I'd probably say yes. They don't do it as much since they had kids. But at the time, I was like, ice fishing, it's freezing cold. Hell no. Like that was my initial reaction. So I have nothing against ice fishing. I just don't like the.
I mean, it is cold. Okay, so Tesla went $1, but we didn't take it, so that was a little foolish of us. All right, so we did take a little bit out there. We got a good fill. I mean, we got a fill at the 50 period, which is the 50s. You guys all saw us take that fill, and then now it just hit 239.10. So we'll sit there now and wait to see what we can do with this. We're now at 239.05, so hopefully we can come back in, as that was a nice move. And remember, this is why we've seen this now a couple days in a row, as I've said. It's just like, it's just pushing limits. Like they're just stop seeking, and unfortunately, it's not really something that I'm super thrilled with, to be sitting here trading when we're just going to run stops all the time. So we're going to have to be patient and start to wait. Like wait more than we've been, right? Like I just put a bid down there at 239. I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to wait to see if we can get any fills. And that's just what we're going to do. So let's see if it continues to work or not. That is Tesla. Let's see if we bring it back down. I am being a little bit stubborn with Mobileye, but it's not really moving right now. I am expecting a move down. Oh, I'm short. So I put a bid here, 29.20. If we make that move back in, that'd be great. That would be roughly, right now it's $1.12 in the money.
Stubborn. It's not.
This is not doing anything, so we'll hang out with it.
There was a trader that once said to me, this is like years ago.
I have to turn
like
off SoFi.
If you're in a hold mode on a trade, like it's extended, it's worked, you've already scalped out, you've taken your profit, and you're just kind of in the money, and you have a condition to get out.
Yeah.
If it doesn't meet that condition, you can just hold it to the close, was what this trader said. I mean, well, they probably don't. It was a long, long time ago. It was probably like 15, 20 years ago. But they would just hold, it's like, it doesn't meet the condition. Literally hold it till 4 o'clock.
Well, that's what I'm going to do in case, that's what I think. I think there could be more flush. And it's because the stock was beat up. It had a nice move back in. I mean,
auction, maybe, if there's something.
Crocs is a value play. I have to, I don't know that much
really?
about Crocs. What else do you want to do here? Okay, so Roblox, I mean. Good one. Roblox takes my money, and then I go, when I look at the credit card. But 43, I mean, we're getting right back up to that level again. So this is probably going to be an out. And we talked about that. I say probably, but why the hell can't I just put an order out? So let's just do that right now. I'm already there, but okay. We'll put another one and cancel it. So there we go. We'll go at 42.90. That's just kind of where we went to. So we'll see if we can get that filled. That'd be fantastic. I only feel like I'm giving up about 10 cents, and I have to be completely right to get that 10 cents. So let's just wait to see if this has any love in it. Roblox, basically 42.90. We'll get that piece out right there. And we're starting to try to get out a little bit. A position that I actually bought in December, or maybe it was November, was Oracle, and it was right around this price. I think it was like 104.50, something like that. This one's a little bit of a nervous hands here because, this doesn't look great, but it is at some support down here at $100. So I think, we could find ourselves back into a little bit of Oracle, just storage and networking and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to see because I got a note that it was. But it's not. This must have been a while ago. It's not any moving averages or anything right now, so I don't know. But right now, I guess it was, maybe it was breaking VWAP right there, but a lot of stocks look like this right now. Anyways, I just called it.
Back into VWAP.
Maybe, yeah, probably. I just called it up just to have a look because it popped up there, so it's kind of a nothing burger there.
So one of the cool things, and you'll see us use trade ideas all the time, oddly enough.
Yes, it's 20%.
20% off, Trader TV 20. We all use it. I was actually, someone just said Crocs is a value play. Well, the first thing I did is I went here, what's the PE? I'm like, that's single digits. I went to Finviz. They're actually, price to sales 1.4, good cash flow. It might actually be a value play, but I just looked at it for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it might be actually correct. But what I was getting at is you can put other indicators you like. Like I have another thing I have up here, which is more like a bunch of scanners. And there is one which I had, but I actually have taken off. I might add it back, which is it's literally pullbacks into VWAP. So you like a stock which is pulling back into VWAP that you might like for a retracement play or to take profit. And you just want to know. You can throw that up there on trade ideas. So I think it's valuable. We use it all the time. That could be a reason to get in a trade, get out of trade, or alert to you want to get in if it does something at that level. So not at VWAP, but at 75, not 75 even, Baba, but 74.75. So 75 top, 74, 75 was the bottom once. The second time, it didn't fill 75s. It actually bounced off that level, took some out at 80 because it was buying. Now it's putting in a lower high, which is good. I'm thinking the low of the day here. But the other point I was going to make was I don't think Mobileye necessarily is going to have an imbalance. But on the off chance that on earnings, when it's down about a bajillion% that it does, there is that early look that we'll start getting. There's a few names out there. It's not here right now. No. But there's a few names which are starting to, I guess, matriculate in. CVS, 1.7 million to buy. These are just some early looks on the potential closing imbalance. If Mobileye were to pop in, or if Amazon were to pop in, or BABA, or any of the stocks that were in like Tesla, you just want to know that, hey, there might be an imbalance in your favor or against you, which is set to come out in about 25 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Mobileye. I just wanted to, there was one other thing here that I wanted to talk about, and where was it? Oh, someone had asked me something on the chat, and then I started looking it up. Oh, it was Chef Joe. Yeah, so again, you know, Sean's tweets. Oh, shoot, I got to update the recap show again. Oh, so much to do. Okay, how about this? You know, Tough Life by this dude. 900 million in annual Apple dividends.
Tight.
900 million, that's all right, that's all right. So shout out to Berkshire and Warren, man, this guy knows how to do it, that's for damn sure. 900, and he just got paid just recently. I think there must have been another dividend. I think that's why this came up, but there it is right there. Impressive dividends from Apple. You can see per year, 900 per month, 73 million per month. That's all right. Per day, just 2.4 million. These are dividends. It's not like per $100,000 per hour dividends. Look at this guy. Per minute, 1,600. Per second, 1, 2. Hey, that's $30.
No wonder he's.
You know, I mean.
You know you're banking on the dividends when. Look, man, they're not even allowing you to drip when you run like him. Like
this
that's
man's
like,
not
that's
even
how you know you're at a different level.
playing around.
Like me, my Apple, that just drips. I'm not taking.
Yeah.
I'm not rolling on one.
Yeah, like I'm about $1 million a year in
like,
Apple dividends, but I mean,
just
900 million.
Straight cash. And the craziest thing about it is like he's getting that cash when it's paying 5. Like, think about that for a second. He's getting that cash when it's paying 5 to hold cash. Shout out, bro.
I mean, that's what I was saying about all these names, and that's why like these companies that have a lot of cash on them, you have to analyze them a little bit different because they could be sitting in the money market funds and just cashing out literally every single day when the numbers look like that. So shout out to Berkshire and Warren and everybody that owns Apple and all of that jazz. Okay.
So we're supposed to say cash.
Cash rules everything around him.
Flow.
Yeah, cash flow. Yeah. Oh, Leary.
All
right. Yeah, I'm gonna. Once the podcast gets going, I'm gonna have him back for the podcast. I think WonderFi's coming pretty soon. I don't know if he's gonna be here for that or not, but they'll be here too again to talk about WonderFi, and it's moved from the bottom there, so that's pretty good. All right. Thanks, Fabian, for the work on the recap show and stuff. 240. Yeah. So, all right. Let's just talk about Tesla real quick. So, you know, we take 40 cents. I told you we'd have to be really patient with it. Unfortunately, I got a little carried away. We should have had an offer down there near 239 flat. That's for sure, but we don't, so that sucks. So let's, if it gets back down there, fine. I am going to put more shares on. So 240.65 right in and around here. I want to try VWAP up until 241. I want to be wrong. I don't want to just like get out because the market goes for a jog and all that kind of stuff. No, I want to play this properly because I saw what happened on SoFi. Roblox is starting to get to that area, man, and it's like I was at, you know, this is like I'm at 42.88. You know, we just stopped at 87. So like, yeah, man, this needs to go for me pretty soon, hopefully. I hope you took that. Whoever talked to me there, was it Kian or somebody in the chat was like, look at MU start to run again. Well, it did. It went right to VWAP. It came right back down again. So just be careful, man. I hope you took that profit. I told you I only have a very, very small percentage, and I was actually going to wait. I thought we could wait for a flush. Like I actually wanted to play it somewhere down here, like I'm bidding like 82.80. Like I thought we could get into this area, flush down, and then play this bottom against, you know, maybe 82.50 or something, right? And so, Unfortunately, I'm not in this as much as I probably should be. Of course, that is this stock right now, Micron. So we'll continue to watch it. That's about it. I might just get out of Roblox right here, right now, because it's at 84. And if I'm waiting for 88, there ain't too much difference in that. So we'll put an order on that and get out. Roblox, nice trade, but worth getting it here at this level. So let's do that right now, guys. Roblox.
Roblox.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, like if you got like longs that are working, the ES just hit the low of the day. Excuse me. The ES just hit the low of the day.
It did?
The NASDAQ's not at the bottom.
No.
It's just the S&P.
Okay.
The S&P that's at that low, but it just hit the low and bounced off of it. So to me, like longs that are still working, shout out to them. I'm saying that as a segue to Disney, which, you know, it actually bounced. Okay, we're doing a few things after, it wasn't lunch money today after sort of going on to Learn to Trade. But that'll be a regular thing. It's not lunch money, that's coming back, but it'll be a regular thing going on Learn to Trade every single day. But 90 on Disney actually came back as I was eating lunch after. And look, you don't always, the reason why this matters, it's not like, okay, like you miss trades all the time, whatever the reason might be. But like Disney at this price, like it's not going to sit here forever. Let's be real. Like this is a 50 in the 200 period moving average on Disney, and it's just hugging this bad boy. And how many times are you going to get bounces off a level like that that are tradable as a day trader? Today could be the last day that we get to trade off 90. So it gave it to you twice. You want to have it twice. It's actually not even at 91 yet, but it's still a good level, still a good trade. So Disney is hanging on to that support. I was thinking about whether I wanted to fade it at 91. I mean, it's starting to find some resistance. The market's weak. My gut's telling me don't fight the trend on that. Sort of stick to a name that looks a little bit weaker if you can, like something under VWAP. My first thought was maybe Apple.
Let's get Disney.
You know,
up.
Apple's only now breaking underneath VWAP. So when I say something underneath VWAP, it's not as if it was underneath VWAP before. I got another wick up here. So that's zooming.
I might short that Disney.
Well, the 81 looks pretty good.
91.
I'm
yeah.
looking at 91. Yeah, 91. I was just looking.
It's at 81 then.
We got a problem.
Yeah, you got a problem.
Apple at VWAP is what I'm looking at here. So VWAP, because it's hard to see, is 82.25. So if the ES bounces, which it's trying to do off the low of the day, I'll look for this to fail in and around VWAP. And if it does, starts to show weakness, I'll short just underneath VWAP with a local out at the high. This time when Amazon pops, I'm going to try to get this one out. The top end here was actually at 63. So if it's going to be a 50-cent move instead of a 70 or 80-cent move, so be it. My plan was to take the range on this, which we did in BOVESPA, what I did not do in Amazon. And again, you know, you can get rid of these wicks, but sometimes it's a bit finicky when I try to, so I'm just going to work with it. I'll let you guys know the prices. It does make like a 50-cent or $1 range look like absolutely nothing because of those, but they're just dark pool orders. So here comes Amazon. I am looking to cover here as it is looking relatively weak, down 2% for Amazon. Just to go over why this is a good level on Amazon, this stock has already pulled back to the 50-period moving average. You know, like it's not that big of a move, but it got to the first major moving average that I care about. And the long off 45 was pretty decent. I think a close above here is bullish, but it's still in its downward trajectory for the last week. It hasn't been that much of a pullback. That's the thing about this move, whether it's Apple, whether it's the market. It's not like it's really been doing much of. It's like 1 or 2 weeks for most of these names that are pulling back. It's a drop in the bucket. That being said, we got to pretty big resistance levels, and reasonable pullbacks can go further. Like the 200-period moving average is exactly where I know for sure. Like I just leave bids in on stocks I want to buy at that price. The 50 is a maybe. The 200 is a 100% go zone. Apple, it's 200 I'm buying, which is that 180 that we keep talking about. So.
Yeah, Apple's getting down there right now. I think Apple can get into the 170s. I mean, I have a lot of Apple, so I'll wait, but I do think it's coming down, and someone did ask that not too long ago. So again, like, you know, we get out. Look, Roblox is a cash register today. There's no doubt about that. But look what happens, right? Like I got out at 84 when I was waiting for 88, when it didn't fill last time, and then now it fills. So. All right, nice move there. We did take, I just took another small piece at O's here, so my average price now is 94 on Tesla, so we're out of the money 15 cents. But you guys kind of know the strategy that I'm trying to work with here. bring it down. So let's just see what happens here with Tesla. I'm trying to work off some of those higher levels. We'll see if it pulls in, right? So that's 63. I put a bid at 60. I'm going to try to be a little bit specific because like I would rather get out like at 65 and then feel better about the fill than have it come down and then me say the same thing I always say, like, oh, I missed the level like we did right there. So let's get out a little bit in front of where we're talking, and then I think it is. This could be pipe dream. I mean, I'm just layering the orders in case it does come down, because before, we had, and then someone said, oh my God, Tesla wicked down, and we actually got it right there. Or right here it was, actually. It was a while ago. It was 230. And then that seems to have been a great fill. And if you're not sitting there catching some fills, especially if you're on a prop floor like we are, that's a problem. So you got to catch the fills when the fills are there. This is what I want to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about dividend stocks. Now I got a little bit of juice behind this. I want to talk about that on the recap show. So we'll look at some dividend stocks and stuff tonight as well, because that big Warren Buffett move there has got me thinking. So we'll wait. But here's who's reporting. I use Market Chameleon. I mean, you'll see it on our watch list tomorrow. We had the Mobileye and Walgreens today, pre-market. One's preliminary, one is real. And then there's not that much else. I sort it by market cap here. So we are getting into earnings season again. Walgreens kicked it off today, so that's great. Conagra tonight, before market open, that was today. There's nothing after market close, unless you are a fan of Kura Sushi. You mentioned having sushi later on.
No, for sure.
So right there,
sushi.
Kura Sushi.
What's the symbol?
KRUS, and it's a 900 or so, 800 and change dollar market cap, millions, of course, and that's it. So it doesn't look like we're going to have too much, and then Friday, forget about it. Ooh, Constellation Brands. Hey, why didn't that show up? That's tomorrow morning. Okay, so that's tomorrow.
There you go.
It's more market before market open, and then we start to kick it off a little bit. Still not that much on Monday. Tuesday we get going, it looks like, with a few more there coming through on Tuesday. So we're getting close. Tilray before market opens there on Tuesday. So get your puff pass ready to go for Tilray on Tuesday. If you have shares, you may want to be super high when you read that earnings report, because
probably going to be better than Mobileye.
You don't want, well,
a dollar says it's better than a dollar says it
doesn't fall 30%. Yeah, I don't think it'll fall.
Every ridiculous bet is, if you ever watch Trading Places, like, it's a ridiculous bet that neither one of us, why would he ever take that? It's insane.
Well, I mean,
I'd have to give you odds.
I would bet that Mobileye has a better quarter, but I don't think Tilray will drop.
It wasn't
30%.
even earnings for Mobileye. It was actually just a guide. Yeah. They report in 3 weeks. I just don't, 30% is insane. Well, stocks can do it, but that KRUS, I don't know. It's, oddly enough, if it did volume, it would be at an interesting maybe breakout zone, just because it's literally sitting at the 200-period moving average, which I found interesting. Was it Mobileye? We were just talking the other day, it was 2 days ago, and shout out in the chat, someone was asking about, it was CVS and a golden cross.
Right.
I was like, oh, the golden cross on CVS, it was CVS, right? Let me just make sure, I don't want to get this wrong. Was it CVS? Load, PC load letter. Yeah, it was CVS. So the consolidation on CVS here at about $78, and then it started breaking out. Look at the top. It looks like a great break of a bottom channel right here. But the other thing that happened is the 50-period on the 50-period simple on the daily chart crossed above the 200-period, which is known as a golden cross. It's a bullish setup. So if you bought that on the golden cross, you would have done so right in here at 79. It then breaks out the channel and you're running in the money. Great, look at how good the indicator is. And I said something to the effect of, well, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but plenty of times you'll see that and it's literally the worst time to buy. And sometimes the universe they know what's up. Mobileye just had a golden cross 2 days ago. So that's your golden cross buy signal on Mobileye, which, I mean, at best, you would have maybe bought the close in there, so you're long instead of at 43, you're long at 42. It doesn't matter. So that's the golden cross. It means absolutely nothing if there's a catalyst. A stock's going to do what it's going to do. However, in the case of CVS here, and this is why I think it's a good trade, the stock was stair-stepping to the upside. It had a consolidation at a key price level. So you have multiple layers of why you would like to trade to the long side, as opposed to, hey, look at that one line crossing the other on Mobileye. Let's just go ahead and buy it. To which I'm hoping no one actually did that. It's not like we were talking about that or anything, but yeah, so anyways, it's just, it looks comical now because that is a typically bullish setup when you have that, and it's literally the worst time that you could have possibly bought the stock. Apparently BTC.
There's tons of news about Bitcoin right now. My computer is like at 99% here.
So
I think something's going on. It must be TradingView, dude. Like, I haven't had this, my whole computer is basically frozen. So Bitcoin right now is really starting to go, man. It's back up to 44,500 right now. I would love to show it to you. So go over to.
Here it goes. Thankfully, I'm doing okay here. 44.5, there's your break, but it goes right into this resistance level from that big flush that we recently had. 44.8 that we just got up to. Now, the other thing that's happening is you're getting a local breakout of Mara. Okay, I had one trade in Mara. I scalped it from 25.15 to 25.50. I joined it late. But Mara's about to break out toward this 27 level. You got some room to 27. Oh, it's 340 already. So you've got some room on Mara to get to that 27.
Yeah.
This is going to sustain that next leg up. So there's a little bit of time to maybe look for the stairs to get 30 to 40 cents higher, although it is a little bit later in the day than I was realizing. I just wanted to double check.
We just got a great, yeah, we just got a great fill, man. I have to ring the Reggie.
Which stock? Oh,
Tesla, finally. Oh my God. When I saw Bitcoin running there, I was like, oh my God, don't tell me like something to do with Tesla or something. Like, I don't know. Now it's coming back in a little bit here. So yes, sir. Honestly, guys, that's for me. This is a good trade. So I'm, woo, that was good. All right, we still are bidding. You know what? Do we still want to get out at 239? What time is it? 341. Okay. Let's not get. Let's get greedy, but not that greedy. We'll get out at 239, and then we'll hold again a small piece, a little bit more than 10%, into this bottom of 238. Rob, have you heard any reports of like Chrome being really buggy after its last update or something? Like,
try close.
He got 100% CPU usage yesterday, and I just got it right now on Chrome. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. So he just, people can't hear what Rob's saying. He's just saying that there's been Chrome. Yeah, maybe we'll have to switch to Bing or something right now because, yeah, I'm not.
You got ChatGPT built into Bing.
Me not happy with that right now. So we'll wait on it. Yeah. Well, actually, I like that.
Well, it is pretty. Hold on a second. I don't want to dox my.
Copilot was doing something.
In a second.
Copilot is, yeah, I know Chrome is very memory intensive. I got to do something about that almost ASAP. But our computers are pretty good. Maybe we just need more RAM. Like, I don't know.
The S&P 500.
Where's Fabian going? Oh, Rob's over there. Okay, I was like, okay, don't tell me we know. No. Shoot, I was going to say something. My son, I think, uses Opera or something. He really likes that.
Well, this is a fail. Thanks a lot, Bing.
That's what I was thinking about.
I was pulling this over, but I didn't want to actually. I'm actually logged into Bing for my personal email account, just so I'm not distracted by it. I didn't minimize it because I don't use Bing. But I just asked this thing if the S&P was going to close green today. The Magic 8 Ball will give you an answer. When we put a poll up, you guys will give us an answer. We'll usually throw our 2 cents out there. But they say I cannot predict the future. And then just a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to read it because I don't care about it. Just make a joke or something. Like if you're not going to answer, this is the thing. When
make a joke.
What's the Google Nest? Is that what the heck's the Google thing that I have at home? Is it called Nest?
Nest. No, the Nest.
No, when I say
it is.
When
it's
I
called
say
Nest.
hey Google,
the little home thing.
Okay, yeah. So when I ask Nest a question that it's not really an answer, it gives me a joke. Is that asking too much? ChatGPT.
I like the Alexa one. You can whisper at it and everything. Well, they're all the same. Okay.
I can't whisper it. Mine doesn't. It doesn't.
It whispers back at you. It's really cool. The Alexa.
Right, I'm gonna try that. Too.
Yeah, because at nighttime I'll be like, Alexa, play white noise or something like that, and then it plays white noise. It goes, okay. All right. So real quick.
Somebody has white noise playing right now because.
Yeah, probably my family. All right. Let's go, man. The money is dripping in. Right now on Tesla. Oh God, we're at 239.05. That better come in. All right, shout out to Andrew Ditter. Look, See you later, A-Rod. Honestly, man, the Packers are in the exact, literally, I saw a tweet the other day. The Packers are in the exact same position as they were last year, except for our last game at home was against, again, a pretty pathetic team at that point, which was the Detroit Lions, and we lost. So we are the favorite at home.
But they're good.
The very last week. No, but this is with Aaron Rodgers and everything. This is why it's sayonara to him. I mean, if he would have won, we maybe would have kept him. But the whole point is that this year it is, shout out to Adara, it's a Jordan Love era right now this year. So we'll see if the Packers can make the playoffs, and then unfortunately get Sharif a little teary-eyed when we go into Dallas, and probably how embarrassing would that be for the Dallas Cowboys?
To lose to Green Bay. I'm not even a Packers fan. I will talk smack for you. You don't even say a word. Like basically, Sharif.
Well, we need to win this week, but that's what's getting me nervous.
No. Let's just move past it. The Packers are winning this week, so
I hope so.
And we can have some fun with it. But I will talk some serious smack.
We have
a lot of fun with this Dallas Cowboys nonsense. But it does go to show when you make a good business decision, like they may be in the same spot, but you're spending. I actually don't know the contract.
Oh, we got picks. We got all that stuff.
You got picks. You're spending probably what?
Well, we're not spending $60 million a year on Aaron Rodgers.
$30 million less? What does Love make?
And we don't have a lunatic. What was that? Fabian something. Oh, Google chomping the RAM. See that on the top right?
Which is true. Mine was sitting at 100.
Tesla.
Mine was sitting at 100% yesterday, and I was having some. If you wouldn't have noticed in the show, but I was kind of.
I just got out of Tesla because I'm not.
I'm trailing because the market's.
Oh, you're in it? Oh, you're short, Bob. Okay, yeah. The market, again, is still flat.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, no. What I was gonna say is like I've said that like I didn't want to play around with this, and like what I meant by that was just like. We wanted to hold and wait for a move like this to happen, you know, and so when it does and when it did, we need to take advantage of it. So instead of, getting out everything here at the 50 or in and around here for 50 cents, we do hold. And now, of course, we wait and hope that we can get the dollar on this move. So we are short now Tesla 240 basically 239.98, and it's a nice push down in. So we've done quite well here into the close, of course, as it's power. Oh, did we get that number?
It was 1.4 billion to sell.
Okay, thanks, Brendo. My bad.
Okay, you know what? If we didn't say that, that's my bad. Usually
1.4. No, because I would have done that same ridiculous reaction like this. 1.4.
That's my fault. Usually, when I see it, I say it. That's for Randy, Fabian. But the market is actually bouncing off the low. That's all I was going to say. Like I'm looking to get out of this, Bob, because the market is bouncing off of the lows. It's a range-bound trade, but I'd rather do that. Why am I on the level 2? We wanted to show you the chart. We wanted to get out at that bottom. I'm not going to let it pass a local high here at 90. I would do this regardless of the price because of the time, because it is 350, 347, and the bounces are going to come out for real in just a little bit. I did scalp into that level already, so I wanted to give it a chance to go all the way. But it is that time of day where you're thinking about a few things. If you're a day trader, it's getting out of your positions.
Yep.
If you're following the markets, it's what is Adara going to do when she rings the bell? It's who is the guest in the recap show. Like you have a routine that you do, and at 350, it's got to start thinking about getting out of positions, which we are going to do. Just shortly, I don't think I put anything new on. I was really obviously Mara was making a big move. It was later than I thought. I hate buying highs on a parabolic move with no time for it to really go. Because we're not holding it overnight for a secondary push. We're not holding it for like some kind of 4 to 4:30 aftermarket push, which does happen. We got to get out at 4 o'clock. So it got to 26.88. It's already starting to pull back. You had to buy highs and take 20, 30 cents there. And I didn't really have an out if I got long, which is sort of a problem. If I don't know where I would punch out of the stock, then it's hard for me to buy the stock at all, especially at the high of the day. At least if I have like lows to work off of or local highs or something that I can work into on a dip buy. But buying the absolute top, just not going to do it.
I just got out of Palantir for just because it just keeps on dripping down, and we only had that 10% left, so we take a small win. But Palantir was at, I mean, these were the key levels, man. 1650. We were pretty lucky to get that 1665 or 1656 there. So I consider that a good trade for now on Palantir, and we'll just run it after that and see where we go. So right now we're out of Palantir. Let's go. This is now, we talked about how much it would be in the money. We're now $1.40 in the money on Tesla. So perfect. I just put a bid there and got filled at that bottom. So like, this is obviously working out for us here, Tesla. We're short at 240. It's 238.50. So, hey, it took a while here today to get this to finally get to the downside, but there goes the futures. Nicely done, nicely cooking to the downside right here now again. So, yeah, we'll look to see. We're out of Roblox. We know about that one. Micron is at this level. It's just embarrassing that we're still. You guys think that I've already explained it. I have like, it's a fraction. It's not like it might not even be. Well, it is going to be 1%, but you know, it's not that much. And we're falling down. I'm just going to get out of it so it doesn't look so bad. Mobileye kind of went up, I guess, during this move. I mean, I was still waiting for this thing to go down. Like, I thought this would have been the other way, and then we would have got our 29 fill. But Mobileye right now, it doesn't know what it wants to do. It's confused. I understand, Mobileye. You do want to come back down, but now we're running out of time. Oh, there it is, 350 right now.
It just came out.
So let's just check out those imbalances real quick. I will get rid of the broker function there, sort it by size, and
Amazon.
there it is, PSTG.
So Pure Storage is being added to
right. I was going to say
SP400.
Shouldn't
but
be
the
down
reason,
there.
so I actually keep at the
NASDAQ.
because I want to see. The early look was 5.6 to sell when you're expecting a buy when it's an addition, and it came out much larger. So it actually came out almost 8 million shares. So because of that, look at the move to the downside on Pure Storage. It actually moved down because people were anticipating 5.6, and then it's supposed to be a buy. It came out a bigger sell, which is a shock. But Amazon, that's the big one. I mean, obviously, that goes without saying. 2 million shares to sell on Amazon. I mean, I was getting out in front of VWAP anyway, so it's like, whatever. Like, it hit my target, so that's why I'm getting out for only a 50-cent win there. But you're now underneath 145. You're underneath the 50-period moving average on Amazon. I think that's going to be a pretty decent value buy. I mean, if it sniffs the 200-period moving average, that's auto. Stink bids are, getting some stink bids in for the Q1 is usually a bit of a thing. So Amazon's on the list, but I don't think we get to 130 anytime soon. But that would be fantastic. The 50 period, I thought we were closing beneath it, but check that. I'll correct myself. It looks like it's not exactly 145. It probably has to move at least $0.50 down from there, but it's close enough.
It was just trying to. So the rumor is that. So right now they're expecting something tomorrow now apparently for that Bitcoin ETF. So that's why it's really starting to go, but it's starting to pull back in. Looks like it will be a sell the event type of event, sell the news type of event. I was actually just looking to see oh, there it is. Wow, like the dividend on Apple, I was just looking right here through Yahoo Finance, like, it's only 0.5%. Like, it's not even.
Not that big.
No, of course, nothing. I'm just saying, like, that's crazy how much money
it's absurd
this guy's making off of such a small dividend. Like, it's
make money.
So nuts. Like, as compared to, I know he has BAC. Let me just double check that. Some of the banks had their dividend back and forth a little bit there. So let's go over to statistics here and find, there has to be a better website for me to check this than this right now. I just use my broker, but
is pretty.
Dividend, 5-year average dividend yield forward, there it is, 2.8 right now. So that's going to be a big holding there. So he's going to grab a lot of dividends also from Bank of America. And then, there are some bigger dividend names out there.
Coke's 3 that he has.
Coke is 3, okay. I wanted to see if Pfizer was still paying 1. There was a bunch of different things that happened during COVID where some people scrapped their dividend.
This much. Pfizer's dividend percentage is higher now than it was.
Yeah, it's 5 and a bit. So 5 and a bit.
Well, it only gets better as the stock stinks, right?
Yeah, 5.65.
That's the problem with chasing a good yield, right?
Yeah, there are dividend value traps and stuff like
sort
that.
of.
And we'll talk about
yield's good, but it does, if you really if you like it for a fundamental reason at a price and you think it's a value, then maybe you do want to buy that dip. I say this as a person, not saying to go buy Pfizer, I just happen to have just bought Pfizer. That's why I bring it up. But yeah, chasing those traps. Like there was a good solid Simon Property. That's the one. That's
I own that one.
yeah. Like I actually own like a dividend ETF. That's my. Every once in a while, I'll have a stock as a dividend stock, but I don't really have it for a dividend.
Right,
I
right,
just
right.
buy more shares with it. But like, the only thing where I actually would try to generate cash, the small portion of my portfolio that is in a dividend ETF, that at some point as I get older, I'll want it to be more and then actually care about the cash. But I don't really buy stock for the dividend. I think it gets a thing, but I've never really.
I buy stock for dividends.
Okay, I've looked.
It's actually why I started buying IBM like 40 years ago.
Yeah, like I actually like I want to get into it more, but
not that
I've never
much of a
done it outside of like a dividend ETF, specifically for the dividend. That's all. I mean, there's obviously stocks that done. Like I've owned Intel when it was paying a dividend, so it's not like I wasn't buying quote unquote dividend stocks. As we get into the last 5 minutes here of the day, just a quick update for you guys. Mara, there was a shot play in there where you could have, if you didn't buy the breakout here at 26 change, you could have just maybe joined it into 27. That's not the easiest trade to pull in unless you've got like an alternate execution
I sent you
strategy
one more
that I
thing.
wouldn't have. So again, I kind of like the idea for the long, but ultimately, like you can't really trade everything. That's the first thing. Like you have to have a bit of a setup. So they did get into 27, but just because it went to 27 doesn't actually mean anything. You have to find a long that works for you that you can execute into. So I did not. Like I said, I got out of Alibaba. Steve G was asking, don't you use trailing stops? I know I did. Like I had a trailing stop in Alibaba. I moved from 75 to 74.9 as we got to the imbalances. So yeah, I was there, but then I put a bid at the local low to get out of position. Now, obviously that doesn't look very good right now because the market is flushing and this broke the low of the day. So I had to hold on to it. The shorts are certainly paying off there. You got your shorts still. Mobileye, auction.
No, I
As
just
if
closed
it's closing on the low. Like insult to injury.
Yeah, I just closed it. But look at this Tesla trade, man. It is absolutely tank city right now for Tesla, and we did it. Props to anybody that was short that name. There it goes. That's, it's not $1, and sometimes when it's not $1, then it's $2. So right there, it is a $2 winner there for Tesla to end the day. So that's great. And then I just punched out of Mobileye. Not great, but Mobileye is still $1. So that's fine. I mean,
I was looking at the wrong chart.
$31.
Your Tesla chart was up, and I was like, oh, for the love of God, Mobileye's close.
Yeah, no, Mobileye is okay for you.
So I'm happy that it was Tesla. Great. It's a great trade because what happens is when you're holding, one of the reasons why you can hold in a 350, if the market moves in your favor in the last few minutes, it kind of tends to trend. You've seen it time and time again. So that's why you put a trailing stop. If it goes against you, get out. But if it starts to go, just kind of hold it till the end of the day, which usually Sean will be up at the desk by now. But if you're looking to hold something, you could put an auction order out there, I suppose. Or you could hang on to it for that 4 o'clock. Now, we have to hold, if you can think Tesla's a short tomorrow, we have to get flat at the end of the day. So like Apple, like if you had held shorts in Apple, from that 200 level, you just short it, core position, hold it overnight. We don't do that. Like we have to it's a new position the next day if you want to put something on. So it's not as if you can hold Tesla till tomorrow. With 3 minutes to go, the last thing I saw here, David Beach saying any oil stocks ripe for a swing. I like CVX at 141. So when put on the spot, I'm going to talk something that I know immediately because I just bought Chevron off of this bottom myself. And this just regained, I know it just regained the 50-period moving average. So Chevron, here's the bottom it made. Once I saw it supporting the 151, let me just, I'm gonna pull up my trade ideas chart here just because it's just looking a little bit better. I like the ability to go from the day to the week, which has the picture-in-picture, and it's a little bit more clean. And I wanted you to see the weekly here. So that's 141 locally you saw on the daily chart in Chevron. This is the higher low on the weekly when it bounced off the 50-period moving average going back into September of 2022. So the reason I liked it in this consolidation was that higher level support. If I was going to dip by it, thinking that oil can make a move to the upside, I did like it as a bit of a buy. And it's also like it's a stock that I hold in my long term. I'm not swing trading it. I just thought it was a good long entry. So as you go back into like a daily chart here on CVX, just to complete the thought with only 90 seconds to go, as it's trying to break out, hold on to that 50 period consolidation and break the high. It gives you a couple of outs, the 50 period, the 148, or if you're holding for a much longer or bigger move, you've got the 140 or 141 level behind you. So like the technical setup is there, but as I said, I bought this for my long term. As a matter of fact, it pays a dividend. So I just talked about not buying stocks specifically for dividends, but let's be real, if you own Chevron, part of it is the dividend. But I have it on drip, right? So I'm just collecting, I'm just buying more shares when I get that dividend payout. And at some point, I would turn something like that into cash, but I like to think I'm young enough that I don't want to do it yet. So less than 1 minute to go. Shout out to everybody in the chat that has been enjoying the afternoon show. Of course, when we have Frank, it's a bit of a party. The market tank isn't good, but you can always go short when you have a chance. And because I haven't done it yet, I'm just going to remind everybody, I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button. And I just saw some excitement, or heard some excitement in the back, and it was this. That PSTG, Pure Storage. Remember I said it's being added to the S&P 400, came out of sell imbalance, flipped to a buy, and ran. Look at the move. So flipped, went to a buy, and then there's that run to the upside. Get the camera off me, just showing you that trade there. But it is Adara time at the bell in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. And there you go. The market is closed. Unfortunately, yes, it's red again. 0.5 to the downside on the NASDAQ, 0.3 to the downside on the ES. You saw the market flush at the end of the day. It's just a couple of names that we're looking at here. I mean, if you're long Bitcoin, at the end of the day, you're good. If you're long Mara, at the end of the day, you were good. Tesla closes. Tesla was green until about 10 minutes ago. And it closes on the low of the day. That's not good. Mobileye got crushed. I'm not going to pull up the chart because you guys don't want to see me curse one more time. But it was a fantastic trading opportunity day, that to be sure. Like, you had to stay in the pocket. It were some tricks in the morning, but overall, if you stick to the key price levels like we're talking about at lunchtime, then you can find those actionable levels. Peloton gave you a chance. That was a strong stock today. So shout out to first Fabian, all week long, running those ones and twos, getting some help from Randy, doing a fantastic job as always. Love those little noise effects that we got going on there. With the exception of the Randy one that you throw that makes me do that every single time. Of course, the midday, great job by Sharif and Adara. It was a pleasure to jump on there. I'm going to try to do that every single day, right around noon, and sort of join in on the fun with some educational content. It's always an absolute blast when we have one guest. We had 3 today. This morning, thank you to Luis. Thank you to Raheem. This afternoon, thank you to Frank. And of course, Brendan, making sure that he's asking the right questions and giving you guys the knowledge that you deserve. But you know where you're going to be going right now. It's just after 4 o'clock. We got the market recap show. We've got the big move that just happened in Bitcoin. I'm sure we're going to talk about that. Probably talk a little bit about the market heading to the downside in Tesla. And hey, maybe some Q&A at the end as well. So let's get right onto the desk. It's the market recap with Sean.
Hey, yo, thank you so much for joining me one more time. It's your market recap show. Thank you. I'm Sean Katina. As you may or may not know, wow, UNG was up 6.07%. Look, what we're going to do on this show is have a great time. We have the return of Miss Danielle Shea. Check out that board, baby. It's options. It's Shea Day. I like that. Shea Day. When she comes on, I like that. It's payday for Warren Buffett. We talked about some of the dividends that he's collecting. I do want to talk a little bit about dividends, and we want to talk about the sector recap. Now that I see that I can write more things on there, like it was cut off, so that's why I said my tweets at the end. Normally it's Sean's tweets. Also, sticky note recap, something that's pretty important to do here every day as well, and that was requested from you guys. But hey, what a fail of a day again, man. Come on, NASDAQ, can't you get going a little bit here? Down another 0.5% is the triple Qs. That's the NASDAQ breaking today, while yesterday below this $400 mark. We're going to see what happens now. Look at this puke at the end of the day. It's never a good sign. Let me just throw this up to maybe a 10-minute chart. Never a good sign when it looks like this, guys, at the end of the day. When you close at the bottoms, uh-oh. Watch out now. Apple was not the apple of my eye today because we were actually short early and got stopped out on that little wick up there, and then it just absolutely tanked. We could have had a reload opportunity there at 183 as well. Look at Apple back down in. It does not close at the low. Apple tomorrow, are you ready? I think it's a long Apple tomorrow. Let's just find out where it opens. If I can buy it against this 180.90, we're doing it. OIH there today as well. A nice little move to the downside as oil. Here, let me go back to a daily chart here for oil. This is getting too big, man. I gotta. There we go. Let's move it over. Oh, no, now XLE looks so small over there. XLV. All right, look at that. There's UNG, right? We talked about that for Nat Gas. And again, you get that report today. It's a nice move to the upside there for natural gas, but that's a good move right to the 50-period moving average off of that 450 bottom. So if you took that bottom, great. But if you're going to look at this on like a weekly chart, oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. I'm a little bit paranoid after my computer basically freezing because of Chrome there. So look at the weekly chart. You know, if you think you've missed a little bit of a bump up in gas, you have not. Well, you've missed it for sure. Lot of room to go back up to the upside. Starting to get a little chilly here. Now, it's -6. When I'm walking on Bay Street there, it feels like -46. So watch out now. Maybe UNG starting to tick a little bit upside right there off of, again, a good distillate report. XLE downside as well today. The TLT, we had Frank Caburn on from IG. Thank you so much, Frank. You've seen TLT make its move back upside as well. Might be time to short this as rates flip-flopping with the market now. Market down, rates going the other way. So we'll watch out for that, which is why dividend stock is going to be important. We'll talk about that in just 1 minute. XLF, good move, man. You know that Sharif keeps talking about being long financials. Good move so far, man. The financials, let's go to the daily chart now. Financials, nice move up. Oh, and I want to do this for everybody. So today, XLF, not buckle. XLF up 0.4, but watch this. Let's do something together. This is really cool. So you can actually get this sort of heat map, and you can get it, configure it. Now watch what I've done. I've thrown up here XLF. So all I push is OK. Hold on a second. Actually, I just want to make sure I don't have the other one highlighted 2T. Yeah, XRT. Okay. So okay. And now it's going to show us what was moving around in the XLF ETF, right? And so today we got a little Allstate action up 2.4%, Capital One down 0.73. Where are the big guys? There we go, Warren. BAC up 0.81 today. TFC. Oh, there was news today about Truist Financial. Just an upgrade. So just an upgrade. Truist Financial today up 1.26%. Let's see what that looks like on a daily. Yeah, nice action there for Truist. Ooh, that's looking pretty good too if we break through that $37 mark there on TRST as we zoom back out a little bit. Nice move off the bottom. So again, TFC getting that bump up. What else was pretty hot here in the banking sector today? Morgan down there, Goldman, Morgan. I don't see JPM, but I will in a minute. There's AXP. We really like that one. American Express, despite credit card debt being extremely high right now, that's good, right? More people using these credit cards. Bang goes AXP all the way up to the upside. I do want to talk to Danielle about this. I told her, let's start talking because I know that Danielle also likes JP Morgan. And JP Morgan, let's go. All-time highs right now for JPM. TAN yesterday hit. TAN today hit. Again, as rates go back up to the upside, you're going to have a problem with some of these solar names. As solar's been super hot in November and December, check out Enphase. Enphase, huge move up off the bottom. That bottom 75 all the way to 130, 140, now running into 50-period moving average, 200-period moving average, back in for Enphase. Watch out for $100. It has that tagged right there. All right, what else was moving? We had some FXI action. This one's not super exciting to me. The name that's the most exciting out of all of this, look, Charlie Munger bought BABA, right? BABA does have a nice amount of action every single day. I like Alibaba, but I really think I like it above 80. I feel like if we break above 80 on Alibaba, we could get a little bit of a swing trade here. So we'll see. It's just bouncing around 74. Maybe tomorrow, if we get a chance to buy $74, I'm actually going to... You know what, Fabian, you're busy. My sticky note is actually right at my desk there. Just I'm going to write down here, BABA, $74. Yeah, it should be around there somewhere. Yeah, thank you, Fabian. Because we do have sticky note review coming through as well. Okay, yeah. So, nothing too exciting today, man. I mean, XLK, of course, is the NASDAQ. Thanks, Fabian, for that. XLK, of course, is the NASDAQ. Sectors that I really like, biotech, we've talked about that. And then I'm going to miss the boat. Like, I don't have as many shares in this, but I really, really like the sector fund here for healthcare, right? So let's do the same thing. I really like AbbVie, and it's actually going to drip into what we're going to talk about next, right? The XLV is a big one. I think healthcare can be something moving forward, and right now. Let's get out of this one. Let's just look and see what was moving around here in XLV today. We talk about this all the time. Like, thank you for holding out with me. But by the way, it's Hydration Nation. Time to drink. Thanks for holding with me every single day, because the thing is like, it's me and Fabian. That's it right here, right now. So, Eli Lilly with the downside move. What? I thought Eli Lilly was ripping up here today. What happened to Eli Lilly? 64. Okay, I guess it was yesterday it got that huge move. Hold on a second. I thought Eli Lilly was rocking today. Okay, it was. What happened to Eli Lilly at the end of the day? Strange. Okay. So Eli Lilly today, guys, look at this. Made that move off the 200 period moving average. Let's mark that down tomorrow, 620. Let's watch out for this 200 period. Really got going there. Eli Lilly's story today was actually a pretty interesting one. New all-time high. Eli Lilly. Reason why, though, they were upgraded from neutral to buy from B of A, so Bank of America, price target. Oh, no, sorry, that was Truist. Eli Lilly today, the launch, oh, that's right, Lilly Direct. So now you don't, to get your prescriptions, there's an actual, I don't think it's here in Canada yet, but there's an app, there's an online portal now called Lilly Direct that you can go in and you don't need, you just put in your initial prescription and then it just keeps on auto refilling, and then it will also send it to you. I believe, I have the note here that they're doing free shipping and stuff, so that's really nice, of course. And the FDA, of course, recently approved Zepbound, the Lilly Direct, really, really pushing that. And we actually had, it was Tammy, the Fibonacci princess, on last time, and she talked about how she's had some family members, and she didn't need to disclose this, but that's also taking some of these drugs. And the thing is like, are we kind of, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow on the podcast, maybe I'll invite Danielle Shea to the podcast one day. She's too busy. I wanted to say that I just wonder about this Ozempic and Novo Nordisk and all this kind of stuff. Like, not only is it helping, weight loss and stuff like that, what it's really supposed to do is depress cravings and things. So it's really helping people that may have other issues as well. Potentially, well, that's what it is. So first of all, it's, it's for the diet, but also could be helping addiction. And I'm not going to say like it does help that. There's studies out for that right now that it sort of suppresses some of the cravings that one might have. So whether or not it would be good for maybe, puff, puff, pass, things like that, maybe a little bit of alcohol stuff. So I think that this drug could actually revolutionize and has been doing it. You've seen Eli Lilly has been the #1 name here moving forward with this, as well as Novo Nordisk. So definitely have a look. And that's kind of why I like the healthcare aspect of everything, because you're going to get dividends in a lot of these stocks and you're going to get the move higher because, hey, we're spending money. That's why you spend R&D, right? That's why we invest in these companies, to get these outsized moves. Look at Eli Lilly. I bought this thing. I looked over. I was like in the money like 200% or something. It's an absolute monster. Well, not 200. I guess it was 100. Down from here. Well, I bought it actually before, so we'll have to zoom this back out. But a bottom of 326 back in March, all the way up to 630, 640. All-time highs today for Eli Lilly. My only problem is, and I've been selling some of this stock, what if something happens? And I don't want to talk negatively because I know there's probably a lot of people that are on these drugs, but they're still in early stages. Just look, I'm a believer in science, but just like people were fighting sort of the vaccine, saying, what is long COVID? What are some of these long-term effects possibly from the vaccine? We're still trying to find all that out. So you always worry about drugs and moving forward with all of that. Okay, I don't want to keep Danielle Shea waiting for too long, but I did talk about wanting to talk a little bit about dividend stocks. And you know what sort of spiked all of that? Was this ridiculous tweet that I found out. Adara found it for me, sent it to me. I mean, come on, Warren Buffett. Honestly, dude, like, roughly $900 million per year in Apple dividends? Apple pays 0.5%. We looked up BAC 2.86%. I mean, look, today was a good day for me. That's fine. This guy, $2.4 million today. Not fair. It is fair, actually, because that's what happens when you put your money where your mouth is, and this guy, and it just continues to go. So on that talk, the reason why I think dividends are going to be important again, if we're going to talk about the market pulling back a little bit for rates, then all of a sudden dividends are going to be back in play. The reason why, and a big shout out to Miss Danielle Shea again, I tried to buy one of her favorite names, but your boy missed it. It's John Deere. I tried to buy John Deere on this move down. Danielle, I'm listening to you. But you know where I was waiting? Oh man, these damn round numbers. 350, like Sean, you couldn't have just been bidding 358, 357, you know, but we tried to ping that little stupid bottom back there in May. You know what? She's probably listening. I'm not even going to talk to her about it, because I missed that bottom, and I know she likes John Deere. I'll probably talk about it with her. Deere and Company, that's a good one, that dividend. Okay, but the reason why the dividends are pretty important is because if rates come back down again, then dividends are going to be back in play. It kind of doesn't make sense to buy a stock for a 5% dividend when you can get 5% free, right? With T-bills and the money market, bonds, corporate bonds, this and that, back and forth, high quality debt, things like that. We're paying 4, 5, 6, 7% sometimes. So I feel like you want to pick up some dividend stock. So if I ask her, she's going to tell me Deere is great. So yeah, you're right. The other thing that I want to talk about was a play like Pfizer. When we're going to talk about good dividend names, the reason why I think Pfizer could be important is if you look down here. Now, there are stocks called value traps where you buy names for dividend, right? Like if you bought Verizon or AT&T for a dividend, or even if you bought Pfizer for a dividend, all of a sudden that 5% gets eaten up real quick. But if you were patient with it and trying to buy some of these names right now at lower levels, they can actually now, because Pfizer is a 5.65% dividend and near the bottom and in the right space, I like Pfizer for the dividend. Another name that I like for the dividend right now, why not throw some money at XOM? I think energy, big player moving forward here. We do have all the talk. We do have multiple, I guess they're wars. Let's call them what they are. There's multiple issues right now affecting crude oil. Let's just go. I don't think we're going to come in through a recession. If rates come down, oil may look a little bit more attractive. Oil to the upside from here. You can get XOM at, I'm just going to double check what its dividend is right now. XOM, 3.72%. Another name that again gets hit a little bit, but J&J, a nice dividend for J&J. If you like J&J stock, it's a 4-star rating, 3.02%. A weekly, yearly dividend aristocrat, always raising their dividend. That is J&J. And then again, if you want to just like sort of hop on the back of Warren Buffett and other traders, what about bank stocks for their dividend? Bank of America, 2.8, 2.9%. Bank of America looking pretty juicy. Lots of room to go back up to the upside, and it will pay you to wait. You're right. JP Morgan's another one of those names. But again, JP Morgan being at all-time highs, dividend a percentage of what your price is, you're going to get hit a little bit on that yield, but still really, really nice. And then another name that I like that can go with another 3% dividend, how about Pepsi? And again, you can just get diversified in a lot of these names, high quality names that are part of your life, right? PepsiCo, again, it's not going anywhere. The snack business, Buble. Shout out to Michael Bublé. Of course, it's bubbly, those drinks. I really like that one coming through as well. And then the other one, what's up with Bristol Myers? You're going to get some good evaluations down here. Bristol Myers, I was just going to look it up to see what it was doing. 4.4% right now, undervalued. We did have Tammy on here as well talking about Bristol Myers, which put that in my head. They do have a bunch, and I'm just reading through it. There's a few drugs in the pipeline for Bristol Myers. They do have a patent loss coming through as well, which is why it's been hit to the downside. Remember, drugs, Patents, that's a problem. Do your research. But hey, dividend stocks, I'm going to talk more and more about them. I'll be more prepared tomorrow during our podcast with some statistics and whatnot. But I like dividend stocks moving forward, especially if rates are going to come down. Dividend stocks are back in play. All right, that's that. And I don't know, man, I called this day is a very special day for me because we're welcoming back one of my favorite guests. Is she ready? Okay, how about this? I've anointed this day as Shay Day. It's Miss Danielle Shay at Trader Talk. Let's go. She's back. What's up, Danielle? How are you?
Hey, Sean, how are you doing? I missed you and I missed all of you.
Man, damn, is that a real fireplace or is that one of those gas fireplaces?
Oh, it's a real fireplace. I made the fire earlier this morning and I just threw a little bit more in there. So, it'd be nice and toasty coming in here.
Yeah. Let's just do that every time you're on because I'm getting some nice warm feels. I really like a fireplace. There's nothing like cuddling up, with the dog or with Luke, whatever. You're getting a nice little warm fire there. We like that. It's a fireplace. What's the weather like?
It is so cold.
Is it?
Yeah. It could be colder. I'm sure it's probably colder in Canada, but
let everybody know where you're located now, Danielle. Used to be from Texas.
Yeah, so I moved from Texas into the San Juan Islands in Washington State. So it's beautiful, Pacific Northwest. Weather is quite a bit different, but that's why I missed all of you because the move was a whole situation, but I'm settled now.
I'm really scared. I'd like to move as well, but I'm the same way as you, man. Like one kid's gone, but 3 kids, like all this stuff. Like I'm having like panic attacks right now thinking about emptying out all our storage and stuff like that. Okay, it's look, everyone's really happy. The chat's really happy to have you back, and you were on the main show yesterday, but now you're on the best show, so welcome to this. As we go, look, I sent you a note about these bank stocks because you and I have talked about JP Morgan a lot all last year and probably the year before that. It's now at all-time highs. But I actually don't want to sell JP Morgan up here because it's just working. And I'm just talked about dividends. I think JP Morgan continues to work. I like XLF. I think there's room to the top. But maybe it's time to rotate into other names that aren't at all-time highs. What do you think about JP Morgan?
So I was listening to what you were saying about dividend stocks, and I completely agree with you. Like one change I made in my portfolio last year was I stopped reinvesting the dividends, and I want to just work on, using those to build cash. And
okay.
When you look at, because I don't know, you reinvest it, it's so small, right? But the cash will add up. So when you're looking at JP Morgan, I wouldn't sell it. I think this is a great stock. I think it's the best stock out of the banks. I think, you did a great job investing in it. And I think it can go up into 200, 191, 200, maybe even eventually 216. You've got a monthly chart setup that's breaking out, really nice Fibonacci setup right there. And yeah, I think it looks great. I'd hold it if I were you.
So tell me this. We have, the reason why I think JP Morgan's pretty important is that today's January 4th. They report January 12th. So we're looking at next week. I forget who I was talking about this. I think it might have been Brian Shannon, but we were talking about holding positions into earnings. I don't have a problem holding, and because it's all about options, I don't have a problem holding the core position and holding the shares because it's shares, and I don't know how much we're going to drop down. But you've given advice to many people before is that you like to play options going into earnings, maybe the weeks ahead of earnings. Are we too late now to put on something for JP Morgan with only a week out?
Let me see. Let me bring up my grid here. So, I love how you pointed out the different time frames because it makes all the difference, right? With long-term stocks, I'm not going to bail on those before earnings unless it looks like, disaster situation. If I'm trading options short-term, almost always, if it's a swing trade, I'll get out before the earnings report. Looking at JP Morgan, this is my custom tool that I use. It's called the Hot Zone. The thing about this is that I like to look for entries for the pre-earnings timeframe, 21 trading bars on a daily chart ahead of the report. So that would have put the entry for JP Morgan on the 12th of December. So for me, it's pretty late to be getting into it now. You can try the 8-day move, which would have started on the 2nd of January. But, I really prefer to get in about 3 weeks before. I think that's where you get the biggest chunk of the move, because oftentimes you'll see that it'll start to pull back as people will take profits right before the report. So I wouldn't get in here.
You heard what I said about John Deere there. I took your advice. I was like, I'm going to wait for this because you always told me that you don't even care if they miss on earnings or not. You're always buying those dips. I like John Deere, 1.5%. I just had to look that up. JP Morgan, 2 and change as well. So a little bit under on JP Morgan on the dividend. Okay, yeah, XLF going absolutely insane. I heard you yesterday. We used to be like Tesla sort of fanboy and fangirls, but I feel like you're kind of changing up your opinion a little bit there on Tesla. Potentially for me, myself as well. I'm a little bit nervous. Come over to my screen right now quickly, Fabian. Look, Tesla here, if we're going to go over a monthly chart, and this is kind of what scares me a little bit, Danielle. I feel like this is great for the options game for sure, but you can go all the way back to 2020, including November of 2020. Tesla was at $238. Today we closed at $238. So I've had to sit in basically this position, unless I bought tops or bottoms or something, and been flat now for 3 years, while a lot of these other names have really started to dance around. So this is a monthly chart. I know sometimes we use different time frames, as you do as well. But yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. I'm getting a little bit nervous about Tesla. And let me just find out for you, when do they report? They report January 24th. So we still got about 3 weeks to go on Tesla. The numbers are incredible, Danielle. They just keep on producing more and hitting their targets. And I don't know, but maybe competition's a thing now. What does Tesla look like to you? I'm buying more at 200. I like it for the long term. I like the full self-drive.
So here's the thing about Tesla. I mean, it's definitely had trouble as of late. When you look at the earnings report specifically, the past couple earnings, it's faltered, right? So the last 3 quarters, we had a drop of 6.9%. The quarter before that, a drop of 4%. Quarter before that, a drop of 8%. So they've definitely had trouble. The price cuts at the beginning of last year, I think, were detrimental, even if it was just because of the way that the media harped on it, right?
Right.
But I will tell you that I still traded Tesla all the time last year, especially in the options market. There's a lot of high open interest,
Right.
a lot of liquidity. You can trade it up and down. So I still traded it. And what I'll tell you about the monthly chart is I actually love the monthly chart. So I use a setup called the squeeze. And so on my monthly chart, I can see that there's a major squeeze happening right here. And so what that is that's compression. That's,
Right.
Like you said, it hasn't gone anywhere for 2 years, basically. So that's the time where I'm actually coming in and I'm building up those long share positions. So I've still continued to buy Tesla stock. I just bought more for my 10-year-old the other day.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
I think it's going to break out eventually. It might take a while. But I'm still building up the long-term share position in it.
All right, yeah. I mean, I think I like it for all other reasons as well. Just like, it's not just about the car. Like, first of all, they're one of the only car companies out, or EV names that actually have a margin. They actually make money when they produce a car. So we like that. But there is increased competition over there. Okay, look. Do you have any ideas for me? I mean, I was looking. We're getting into earnings season again. Is there anything that maybe you're targeting? I know you and I really nailed that Affirm. Remember, we were long 20, man. Affirm went to 50. We had some options on that play as well. There's a few things that I think could break out moving forward. I'll give you one, but I want you to give me one first. Is there anything you're looking at that maybe some of our viewers might be interested in the next couple of weeks?
All right, so I'll give you an aggressive one, and then I'll give you a more conservative one. How about that?
That's perfect.
So the aggressive one that I was looking at in our trading room, somebody was just asking me right before the close, Mara. So Mara has 20% high short float, and it was up another 12% today. Anytime you get, a 12% move on something that has 20% short interest, plus you have multiple squeezes on multiple time frames. If you get another gap up tomorrow, then you're going to have, short sellers covering, and that could make for a really good day trade. Now, if it doesn't gap up and if it gaps down, then obviously there's not going to be a short squeeze. So this is one that I'd be watching like first thing at market open. And if you get a gap up, you can probably follow it if there's high volume.
You know what? The thing about Mara that scares me the most is, of course, the impending ETF approval or not with Bitcoin, right? And I just think that it's like, we've seen some pretty violent moves over the last couple of days, last month or so, in anticipation of this happening, right? There's rumors that it could be happening as soon as tomorrow. So for me, I'd be a little bit nervous, but I do like it. That's what we take the shots for. That is for sure. Okay, so that's your more aggressive one. Now give me your conservative play, and don't say John Deere.
Okay, I do have to tell you, I don't think you're too late on John Deere. I think it'll trade up to 475, but
475?
I agree with you that.
Wait a minute. What is Deere and Company? What is Deere and Company? Deere and Company's at 392 right now. So
Yeah.
you think that we could take this out? Is that based on soft landing? Is that based on, you know, equipment being shipped over there to China? You tell me what you know that I don't know besides everything.
So, I mean, it just goes back to the longer term chart setups. If you look at the monthly chart, I mean, same thing like Tesla. It's been consolidating for so long. It's been building up that momentum. I like it for the dividends, like you were mentioning, but I just think that the monthly chart setup and the weekly chart setup are going to eventually break out. You know, I use a lot of Fibonacci, like your newest guest that you have, the Fibonacci Princess, who I love.
Yep.
And I've got my fib levels up at 475. So I think it might eventually break out of that squeeze, but I'm continuing to buy more of it.
People like your take on Mara. They like your take on Tesla. All right, so I'll give you one of mine now. Mine's going to be Roblox. I mean, we've got young kids, right? Roblox ain't going anywhere. Roblox reports, this is a little bit of we talked about this, it reports on Valentine's Day. You know, so I have nothing to do on that day. So we will be watching out for these earnings. Hi, Marissa. I love you so much. We'll do something, I promise you. But, okay, I think Roblox has a chance, man. You're bouncing off. You bounced off this 200 simple. We're coming into the 50-period MA as well. I like Roblox. I really think that they're kind of revolutionizing the gaming industry. We had Activision Blizzard bought out by, which camera over there? By Microsoft. I want Danielle on the screen. I want to talk to her. We had Activision Blizzard taken out by Microsoft. We've seen EA Sports. We've seen a lot of this. I think Roblox can dance. I like it down there. I want to be a buyer in and around this $38, $39 mark, right in and around here somewhere. Let me let Roblox fall down a little bit. Am I crazy or what on this Roblox opinion?
Okay, Sean, so I'm glad you brought this one up, even though I haven't looked at it for a while, because it does have one of my favorite setups. So this was something else I wanted to talk to you about, which is the breakaway gap. When you have a breakaway gap after earnings the prior quarter, and then you have earnings upcoming again, those are typically going to be the best rallies going into earnings. So you can see with Roblox, it gapped up 4.7%. You know, it held that gap. It pulled back into the 34 EMA. My time frame where I look for those rallies going into earnings is going to start around the middle of January. So, you know, January 16th or so. But I actually love the pullback into the 34 EMA.
Really?
I think, you know, Roblox it's an aggressive stock, right? But
I'm not here to play around. You know what I mean? Like me and you, we're going to make money here. But you know what? When I mentioned Roblox and you're like, yeah, I thought you were going to tell me that this is the worst idea that you've ever heard of. And I'm glad that it's not the case. So your kid's still too young to play Roblox. Your oldest is 6, 8, something like that?
No, he's 10, and I had to ban him from Roblox because he spent way too much money on it. And
yeah, I'm feeling that.
You know, I was trying to give him allowance for it, but it just was all...
Me and you are very much alike because I give both my kids, I have a 9 and 11, they both get the $13.99 a month, whatever that is, 1,000 Robux or something. They get that, and then about 7 to 10 days later, oh, I need more. And then it's just like, Dad, it's only $5, and I just wind up paying it. But then at the end of it all, it just adds up. You are right. I need to do some accounting with those Robux and potentially ban it. But I actually like it. Sometimes I sit there and I play with them. Brookhaven, they like that. There's a whole bunch of different games. All right. Is it Meta that you want to talk about?
So I wanted to talk about Meta because, you know, I love trading these Magnificent Seven names. I think they're much more conservative names. They're great to trade in the options market because they have a lot of liquidity, and you know, they tend to be pretty great tickers to put spreads on, which I use a lot of the time. And it has earnings upcoming.
Right.
So, you know, if you look at Meta, first of all, it was up today, even though the market was how it was, right?
Yep.
last quarter with earnings, it didn't have that breakaway gap, right? It fell 1.5%. But you know what was great about that is you see how after it fell, I mean, the entire quarter, it just continued to trade higher. So you have a decent response to earnings last quarter. And the 3 prior quarters, I mean, they did fantastic, 8.9% gap up, 14% gap up, 19% gap up. So when I'm looking for tickers that may rally into earnings, it definitely has to be something that has been responding well to earnings, has a nice pullback, potential by the dip, and Meta fits the bill for that.
Oh, Danielle, January 31st. So now we are in that month right now for Roblox or for Meta on earnings. January 31st. I wanted to bring that up. Man, like when we have so much fun, I just look down. It's 4:33. I apologize for that. I've kept you way too long. But hey, man, the viewers are loving it. We have great amount of viewership. Oh yeah, and by the over 2,000 watching right now. And we're streaming live also on Twitter. On X right now. So that's very important. New year, new opportunities. Danielle, thank you so much. And you're going to be a regular every Wednesday, Thursday with me now. So thank you so much, Danielle. And hey, congratulations on the move. It's over, so we can take some deep breaths and get back to studying the charts. And by the way, I love your charts. I mean, I know they're so super confusing. For me anyways, there's so many lines on there. That's the best part about it, right? I love that little gap where it shows the earnings gap up and down. I'm gonna see if I can get that on my platform. Always teaching us everything. And Danielle, maybe stay in the chat a couple seconds. Are you in the chat? I know there's lots of people that are absolutely loving everything that you produce for us here at Trader TV Live. So I want to say thank you. And they can find you over there at Trader Danielle on X. So thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks. Love joining you.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. That's Miss Danielle Shea. Don't tell her, but I kind of think she's my favorite. All right, that's Danielle Shea. All right. Look, man, it's 4:33, and I have multiple things to do still here, and I'm not going to do them, unfortunately, because, Fabian, the guy's burning the midnight oil. We don't get paid anything extra for this. We're doing this for you. Well, maybe Fabian does. He should. That's for sure. All right, now it is. Yeah, we'll talk about it after, Fabian. Okay, so today, just a few things about the sticky note. Let me just go over to my thing. I just want to talk about it for those of you that are joining me. I put this up every single day, and it means a lot to me that people continue to support it, right? It's just a couple little notes. We got it right here. It's a sticky note. Today we had Micron long. That worked late, but it was off 83, not 84. We talked about an 84 long break. The Affirm short, we'll talk about that. It never got to 45.50. There's my Roblox long. I like the name. I like it into earnings, but February 14th is still a while away. And then there's the Tesla. I thought Tesla could really drop in there today, but it didn't. But you know what? I'm really glad that my eyes were on Tesla today, because just there at the end of the day, look at all the trades we had on Tesla. Every single one. And again, when I go back and forth from this desk to the other desk, I can't, like, our platform doesn't really let you edit out these wicks when you switch platforms from that desk to this desk. So look at this. We were net long early, right? And then all of a sudden, we really realized that once we broke down through VWAP right here, because we kept on trying to hold this 240 area, once 240 broke, I still kept on trying to go long, and it just didn't work. But then we finally flipped up into the short. Short there, short again, short here. Stopped out of 75%, but then once we realized that we were still under VWAP and we liked the short, we got right back in. So sucks to have that out, but then we took it right in again. And look, when we go short at 240, look where my out is, 240.20. Like, it's like 20 cents worth of an out. We get it right back in, and then we take 50 cents on the short. Then we were like, oh, baby. Tesla came right into 240 again, and then it was Merry Christmas, man, all the way to the downside, where we take a $2 win on that last little piece there for Tesla. So again, we knew we wanted Tesla long, but we had to switch it up. Just quickly on Affirm, I just want to see where Affirm wound up going to today, because 42 and change. Wow, nice little move down. Look, all of you that took my advice on shorting Affirm near $50, congratulations, man. All of us are now in the money quite a bit there on Affirm. And again, I don't know why this isn't changing. Hold on one more time. Nope, still not changing, but a firm downside. I said that we'd have a 3 handle on a firm by mid-January. It looks like it's going to happen a lot quicker than that. Look, thank you so much. I got to thank a lot to Danielle. Thank you so much for coming back and joining me here on the Market Recap Show. Wow, I'm a little bit out of breath here as we go. That was a lot to cover. I'm not out of breath, but just getting tired here. Lot to cover. I want to thank everybody for joining. You can go find me on Twitter, on Instagram. It's at Trader TV Sean. There's so many fakes, but there's only one original, baby, and you're rocking with me right now. Thank you so much to everybody. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. We're doing it every day, but not tomorrow because I got a podcast to film. So I'll see everybody live tomorrow at 8:30 back on the main show. It's the big show, baby. We're gonna be back there right now. There it is. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn those bells around. Thank you so much. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Ciao.